All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of NSDC. We got the crew, Doom, Sergio, Monster in the Iron Mask, and we got a special guest today, Manu, also known as the 9.9 Newsstand.
Thank you for having me, my friends. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah. I appreciate it. I always, my bad. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I like to say anytime the recording starts, I just like to say, like, because no one watching this knows, but we just had like 10 minutes of like, some conversation, and some of that might come back up because the show starts and everyone's like, why are they so calm? Well, it's because like I'm super aware of the fact that I had to just shut my mouth because now we're recording and I got to chill a little bit. But anyway, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, man. It's really nice to be with the group of you guys together because it's the first time for me. I hope it's not the last, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you coming up for sure. We get to see you, every other week, at least in the past, and now having you here real time, having real conversation, that's a treat for us for sure. Thanks for coming on. Let's talk about what we're excited in the week. Anything piss you off? Manu, we'll get to you. If you got anything, air it out. Air it out, bro.
Me off, Doom. No, I love everything going on.
Lately, for me, recently I decided to move some of my cards that weren't in my Doom collection, just like some of the Mystiques. I love Mystique.
Oh my god,
the X-Men.
I didn't know you had any Mystique stuff.
I did. Fortunately, I had some nice ones. I moved them off. And this week I got my comic cut piece that I've been looking forward to for a long time. So that it's funny how that works. You have a collection that you get a specific piece to add to it, and kind of re-energizes you. That feeling of like really appreciating what you have. Anytime you can add a piece to that, I felt that this week for sure. And pissed me off, Melfi, I'm tired of you have your little blue scooter like in Mario Kart. Like, dog, I'm gonna unlock these scooters, dog. We're gonna get to it. Wait till I get my blue one, dog.
Oh, that's what it was. They've been beating you because you don't have some things unlocked.
Yeah, he keeps winning because he unlocked it. And Fausto, where you at? Like, you ducking the smoke, bro. Like, we've been playing like 3 days in a row. You know what I'm saying?
I only go where I'm invited. You know what I mean?
Oh, you guys are actually talking about a video game.
Yeah, we're doing Mario Kart. We do it in the Discord. Shout out to Swami. I don't know, Elusive, you still in the Discord? Or you got booted?
No, I'm still in there.
You also not down to play too. There's a lot of tacos.
I'll jump on. Come on. Well, send me. When's the last time I didn't get an invite? But go ahead. Let's continue. Don't worry about it.
It's public, bro. You can see it right there. When everybody's in the chat, jump in, dog. You can take an L any day. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I'm in the Discord all day, Elusive. I don't know why you're not in there. I'm in there. I'm in there. I answer everybody's question in the Discord.
Yeah, dog. Come on.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, shit. Marvel Masterpieces wouldn't even be a thing if it weren't for me out here.
Oh, my bad, bro. I didn't know who I was talking to.
Sergio's been quiet lately, but look, Sergio, I know he's busy working, bro. He's busy working. You got no excuses.
Busy working. We got some other little projects going on, so we're gonna have some fun with that. I put myself on a timeout. Like no collectibles, no nothing. There's a little refocus, but we'll get back to it. I got a couple blue dots saved up on eBay for sure. I'm waiting.
You don't need those. Forget those for a while, dude. Just relax.
Hey, the blue dots don't even work the way blue dots used to work anymore. The new eBay app is completely different. I'll go through a search and it'll still be there. You got to clear the searches at the bottom. I feel like I'm missing things all the time now.
Yeah.
Every time they update, they make it worse. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You said you picked up a comic clipping that you've been looking for a long time. You don't show them when you say it? You're not going to show us what it was?
Oh, man. You're right. Like, I didn't even have it ready here.
I can use my imagination and stuff. There's a lot of comic clippings
bro. Don't even worry about it. Here we go. I don't know how well you're going to see this, but this is the Dr. Doom panel, kind of referencing like the cover of Fantastic Four #5.
Beautiful.
So these are one of 3 that I have from the Fantastic Four #5. And I got in the blue label before, they got discontinued whatever bullshit happened. I don't know.
Right. And you got that lovely balance of the subgrades, which makes me actually like the label.
That's the thing. Without them, to
Yeah.
me, it just looks terrible. Like I
How
need
come
the
you never
subject.
agreed with me? How come I was
I
the only
agree
person
with you.
arguing with everyone, man?
Well, like you were arguing with different people, man. I was in there, rooting for you.
No, I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you. I'm just playing. Yeah, it's always I always say something. I never just leave anything alone. Like who cares what labels people like, whatever.
Yeah, no, but that's
Exactly.
so far that's all I've had. Anything on my mind? What about you? What about y'all?
I've been watching Baki Hanma, this anime on Netflix with my son.
Okay.
What is it?
Baki Hanma. He looks like the guy Akuma from Street Fighter.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, it's pretty dope so far. To be honest with you, we killed like the first season, and we're still watching it, so it must be decent.
Oh,
I'm not sure what that is. Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, you guys. Yeah,
Sergio's the anime guy. Like, have you seen it?
Yeah,
I've never even heard of that.
Wow,
I've never heard of
That's
that.
crazy.
You let
What is
Lucy
this?
beat you to it, dog? That's
Come on,
crazy.
guys.
He's trying to take your title, bro. I don't know about that. I don't know how I feel about that,
Yeah,
He
please.
had a title. What do you have the title of?
Clearly the anime guy. Like, why are you
Oh,
trying to
okay.
don't
I for
downplay it.
sure got the most depth in anime for sure.
100%,
I'll put you guys on.
Yeah, other than
But
Dragon Ball for sure.
Yeah, I mean whatever. The Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball's good, man. No, it's been you know what, like it's been a slow week for me. Like I kind of like disconnected from the internet a little bit.
Yeah.
Like obviously I respond to the homies and all that good stuff, but like my mind is just like in other places. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I gotta like when your mind kind of goes to like other things, like even though like you have something in the back of your mind because it's something that you still do. It just takes a little bit of focus from what I would normally do. I have to get like again, it's just like you get a couple of things like in front of you, like all right, I want to like battle these things and then get back to the regular programming.
I mean, you gotta take breaks from the collecting world
Yeah,
and the
man.
fucking IG and everything around it. You just need to.
That's how I feel when he said like, oh, like I saw the Mystique and I was like, oh, like come on, man, like don't do it to me.
You know me, like there's just
The
things that
thing is
come in
he
and
likes
out,
it though. He likes it and then like one day he wakes up and he's like, no.
Hey, look, it's very emotional. My collecting is emotional. Like it is what it is, Like there's some things they fulfill whatever time and space that it fulfilled, and then it's time for them to go. Like I'm not fighting that feeling. I'm not staying stuck with something that I don't care about anymore. Like I hate seeing things that don't mean shit to me after a while. Like I gotta move them on. Someone else will enjoy them. Like let's just get it going.
Yeah.
I can definitely agree with that. And collecting is supposed to be emotional. If it's not emotional, it's not. You're just trading commodities or some shit.
What's the point?
What is the point?
Just
Exactly.
put money in the savings account or do something else. Like at that point,
do something else. Yeah, do something that's purely financial, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
We choose this because our heart's in it. It's one of the reasons that I get pissed off when.
Go ahead, Manu. Let us know what's been going on through your mind.
My problem is my heart is in a lot of things. That's my problem.
Hey, that's fine. There doesn't have to be a limit to how many things your heart is in, as long as what you're doing has your heart in it. It can be in any number of things. I know you started with diecast, right? I don't know if you started with, but like what people find out about you, and I think about Doom as well. Like you guys are both diecast collectors, right?
Well, I definitely started. Actually, my first thing was stickers, like the Ninja Turtle stickers, and from like back in the day, the '90s, and like the lowrider stickers. It was heavy lowrider culture here in Texas.
Yeah.
So you used to go in, how the little machines with the 50 cents to give you a nice little cardboard and you open it.
Course.
Yeah, I used to collect those all the time. That the lowrider magazines. Shout out to my dad. He used to give me lowrider magazines. I was a small kid. I never understood why they looked at them kind of sideways because he would give it to me. You got ladies in the front, but I was checking out the cars, bro. Like I was in the design. It was all awesome. So that stuff kind of is the first steps of collecting.
And I remember back in the day when those vending machine stickers leveled up, when like really amazing art became part of the stickers. Like it'd usually be like some sort of reference to a skull or some sort of like like kind
A
of that
clown
kind of
with
thing.
the tears, you
Yeah,
know, like
but it got
all
so
this.
good, and then the
Yeah,
vinyl ones started to come out, or like the
yeah,
clear ones, or the white and black ones. Like it got so good, but for me, it was always like the Prism Marvel ones. Like I used to love those
yeah,
out of the vending machine. But the reason I bring up diecast is because it's another thing that Elusive's heart was in it. I don't think too many people, like me personally, I met Elusive, after the diecast stuff. Like I don't know Elusive's page being a diecast page, and I get a kick out of seeing him show something that I wasn't aware of. And like I think Elusive gifted Doom, or Doom gifted Elusive a Batmobile the other day. You guys know the history of it,
yeah,
like what
man.
movie it represents, so on and so forth. I remember when on Rohan's channel, Absolute Game of Nerds, Rohan asked you, Elusive, he was like, what's a diecast? And I was like, that's dope, like
Yeah.
people don't know all of these things. So it's interesting to find out. But yeah, as long as your heart's in it, it's pure,
And I think to that point, I think why it's surprising is we think as collectors that most collectors have like at least some knowledge base of other collectibles,
Yeah.
And sometimes they're just more far apart than we think, But
Yeah, you wouldn't even think they're so, because some people are just right in their lane. They don't even know what's happening right outside of it. It's completely new territory sometimes. I find that fascinating too.
Which also shows how much focus they have in their lane, right? Which is a good thing.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Exactly.
Yeah.
What did Nipsey say? Nipsey said, stay in your lane. There's no traffic there. I don't know if he originally said that, but that's where I heard that, stay in your lane. There's no traffic there. And we're talking about something a little different, but that's been top of mind for me lately too, because I strayed out of my lane a little bit, as we discussed prior. And it feels better in my lane. It feels better where I control the narrative, to be honest with you.
Is that where mentally you go home, to your lane is always been the comic books?
Not necessarily just comic books, but the way that I collect, the sort of emotion I need to feel when I'm engaging with the product. It's not about a lot of the annoyances or the things that people have recognized that my energy's been disturbed lately. A lot of that has not to do with the product. It has to do with the things surrounding it, the certain people that entered my world because of it, the way things were, like I said, distributed, manufactured, even talked about, like all of that wasn't my way of like engaging with stuff. And again, no one has to engage with things the way I want to. It's not wrong just because it's not my way.
Yeah.
But I forgot that, oh, wait, I could just remove myself and go back to doing things my way. Like, I don't have to be a part of the shuffle, like I'm over here. And so that's all it is. It's not necessary, because I'm still buying cards all the time. But just engaging with the things the way that I want to. Like, I like opening boxes of cards by myself, bro. I don't like making sure the cards are on screen. I don't need the camera to record it. Like it's not about that for me. It's never been,
Yeah.
And I do appreciate what everyone's doing. It just needed to remind myself that I don't need to do it that way. That's all.
Sometimes you just gotta go back to the basics, and I think part of that is like you mentioned earlier, is like going back to what got you to the dance, and what got you to the dance was, sourcing and grading books.
Yeah, man. I mean, straight up, and
man, I remember like, if with Elusive, like way long ago when he he was first doing like the cards and coffees and stuff, I had mentioned you, and this is like before you were even like public. It was just like a photo, and you would just post like, 2-3 photos of like a comic or something that was, be like, hey, like, high grade, some things you wouldn't even sell. I remember like the Squirrel Girl, Venom.
Oh,
she's standing
bro,
like
that's one of
the
my
secret
favorite
worthy.
books ever.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Which Squirrel Girl? Tell me again. Sorry, because there's a couple.
It's like the black and pink, yeah.
Oh, I love that book so much.
And it was just a time where like, it's. And I'm not saying that I don't like you, like, being on screen, but I liked you off screen, like I like the off screen. It's just like, you pop like little interesting comics up there, and it was always like, you look forward to the post. You know what I mean?
Man,
like looking forward to the post, because like, the next comic you post is either like, hey, some high grade this, or like a 9.8 that, and it's just like, it's really cool. Like I learned a lot from your page, like a lot of like symbiote stuff, Spider-Man stuff from your page in comics,
Man.
Like seeing some of the covers that you pick, it's just like, you know, you have a good, like, good eye for some like the symbiote stuff, some of your picks, you know?
That's really important for me to hear, and I really appreciate you saying that, because I wasn't losing touch with that. It's not like I had stopped that, but I was spending time doing other things, right? And that is back to the basics. Like, that's my thing. Like, when I first started the Instagram page, there was no one knew who I was. They didn't know my name. They just knew the brand that I had written up there and the logo that I had put up there. And I wanted the items, the emotions of the items and the way that I felt about them to kind of speak for themselves. And I'm glad that they did. And that Squirrel Girl cover, like, I actually have a few copies of it right to the right of me, right? And I really love that book. But the thing that I wanted to say, there were a couple of thoughts happening, but I said this the other day and I forgot where I was. I think it actually was the interview with Rohan that I did, Absolute Game of Nerds, and it just came out. I didn't say it the other day. I said it a few weeks ago, but it aired the other day, and I watched it, and I said, I got to remember that the only reason anyone even, like, at first invited me onto a screen was because of what I was doing. Oh, this is exactly what I said. I said it was because of what I was doing in the world of books and grading, right? And if I spend all of my time making content or talking on screens, that is time that I'm not spending doing what made people want to talk to me in the first place, you know? And I don't want to trade what I do for attention. I don't want to trade that. I would never be like, oh yeah, all I want to do is be a talking head on a screen. Forget what I actually love doing. No, I would rather the screens go away and I let what I do speak for itself. If I had to pick, fortunately, we don't have to pick. We just have to find balance. And I was losing balance. My energy was disrupted, and it had nothing to do with the cards or the comic books. There was just too many other energies that were mixing with mine. And I don't work that way. I can't compartmentalize. A lot of people can hang out with all kinds of people. It doesn't affect them. I'm not that way. If someone is engaging with me, their energy is affecting me. And if I don't like it, I don't know how to not let it have an effect on me. I will either lash out or disappear for a while. And I think I picked the disappear most recently, because lashing out would have been mean. You know, these are nice people. They don't mean to irritate me. So I should just remove myself. Yeah. Well, I do want to talk about some books though. Hold on, Sergio. Okay, you said you're on pause right now. You're working on some stuff. You're focused on other things at the moment. And Doom told us that he sold a bunch of Mystique stuff, and he picked up that clipping he just showed us. Elusive, did you tell us what your recent pickups were?
No, I mean, I mentioned it last week, but it just arrived this week. It was a trade I did, and I always shout out, by the way, speaking of touching on a little subjects we touched on earlier, which is, you know, just being grateful for where we're at in the hobby. Like, you know, for me, I didn't get to open any of the new masterpieces, or I haven't bought a single yet. But I do go back to my collection and I go, wow, you know, like I was able to accomplish a lot of the goals that I had for myself. And one of them was the trade I did with Obi, which was for that Emotion Venom by Patelis.
Yes, bro. Sick. I love that. I did see that on your page. I'm pretty sure I saw that on your page.
Yeah. And that was just one that I've had, and, you know, that I've been wanting in a 10. It's a Pop 110. I don't know who has the 10, and there's 7 9s. There's 0 9 5s from BGS's side. So I just settled for a 9 as a placeholder. And, you know, I also still hoping to land a 10 or a 9 5 in the future. But these are just awesome in hand. And 95 for me is one of my favorite sets. And the more and more time goes by, the more I realize it.
I want to ask you a question about that card. And this is just for the sake of comparison. I'm not saying one thing. I'm just saying, when you look at that card, I look at that card often, right? I love that card. And when you look at it, doesn't it kind of feel like what sketch cards look like now? Like, that looks like a sketch card more than a Venom card. Does that make sense, or am I sounding crazy?
I could see something like 10, has some tannish to it.
Anthony 10.
Yeah. Oh, that's an art. Yeah. You know, but anyway, that's just a thought that I had, because there's the non-emotion, the non-signature series PSA 10 on eBay, and it's been there for a minute. I think it's like a little under 400 or best offer. And I'm an aggressive buyer, right? Like, that's I'm not saying it's not worth that, and I wouldn't be surprised if somebody paid that. I love that card, but I haven't pulled the trigger on it because, like, I don't think that I can get out of it for a profit if I'm into it at 400, and I don't like holding on to anything that I don't have equity in. It doesn't matter if I love it or not. I don't want a bunch of paperweights that I love. You know, like, there has to be, I have to know that, I can sell this. And say it again. Huh?
I said I feel targeted.
No, man.
No, because I mean, I obviously that's the way you do it, but no, I do.
Yeah, I'm only speaking for myself personally, right? Like, that's all. I got some. It's not like just because I have equity in something doesn't mean I'm turning it into equity. I've got probably 80 PSA 10s to the left of me right now. They're not for sale. They haven't been sold. That's all just money in plastic, you know? I'm just saying it gives me a nice feeling to know that I bought it under the price that I can sell it for.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I have to flip it right away or anything like that.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to ask for all of us too, by the way, even Sergio and Doom, I haven't asked this, I don't think, maybe off camera, but, you know, at least for Manu specifically, right? You turned your hobby into like a business, right? But what is a hobby you currently guys have now that has nothing to do with what we're doing? Like, what's another hobby?
I don't have one.
This is it for you?
Yeah. I don't have one.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna start drawing again. It's something I used to do a lot. Like, as far as hobby wise, that's, you know, it's been collecting. It started with, you know, shoes and then basketball cards and Marvel, and now I'm gonna try to get back to something, you know, from the youth. We used to, you know, growing up with poverty, you don't have many options. You get a piece of paper and a pencil and then you use your creativity and you go places, right? You fucking fly to wherever you need to fly. Like, I want to get that side. It was also therapeutic when I was in like art school, just working on a charcoal piece for like, you know, 24 hours or whatever it was. I miss that, you know, a lot of stuff we do is just a lot of time consuming. I want to produce something for once, right? Like, I want to get back to making something where I can see, oh, you know, I spent this time here and I have something tangible for it too. That's one of the hobbies I'm trying to get back into.
That's I mean, I can dig that. I just doodled back in the day. Like, I never turned it into like a super, but it totally can understand that. You know, for me, the hobby is the business and it is the hobby. It's one and the same. That's why I can spend all of my time doing it. And if I take a day off, I miss it. No one takes a day off of work and misses work. If they enjoy it, it's more than just work. It's also your hobby. You know, I used to be really passionate about cars. I don't interact with cars in that way, but for last week, for a couple of days, I was in Monterey for Monterey Car Week. And that's a hobby, to spend a couple of days a week there. It's my mini vacation. It's only a couple hours drive. You stay there a couple of days, and you just enjoy this different world. And but while I was there, I was missing comics and cards. You know, I was still refreshing eBay. I was still on Instagram. And another thing is, I don't like anyone knowing where I'm at while I'm there. So I was posting as if I was at home. I wasn't at home for like 3 days, you know? I just don't like. And then when I got back, I showed some images from the car stuff, but I was already home. I just don't want anyone to know I'm away if I'm away. It's just how I am.
Yeah.
Sergio?
For sure. And as it could be. I mean, other hobbies, nah, man, not really. Like, you know, I'm very, very limited, like TV. You guys know that. Like, you know, like I collect my comics, man, really. Like, I've reached the point's end with cards, you know, like I'm not buying any more cards unless, you know, a certain other card pops up to try to finish like a certain thing. But other than that, man, like comics is my jam. And you know, you guys know I like to venture into like, you know, some foreign comics, stuff like that. And, you know, just pick up some dope pieces, man. And, you know, might pick up a few pieces here and there to share with some friends and all that. But other than that, man, like, you know, the other hobby that we're gonna get into is connected to the hobby that we're talking about now. So, you know, when I deliver that, you know, to you guys, we'll see how it goes, man. You know, there'll be a couple gifts, couple samples, and you know, it'll be hobby related for sure.
Oh, no,
but kind of like the same thing, like, you know, Doom's talking about. It's like you want to produce something, you know, like it's not Like, yeah, like stacking stuff is cool, collecting stuff is cool, you know, like, and a lot of the stuff that I buy, like I have no intention of selling. So, it's cool to, like, you know, kind of like shift that gear, you know, and go this way, because everyone's doing this over here. I'm gonna keep doing this over there, and it's always a good feeling to know that, you know, I'm in my own wave, you know. I don't want to do what everyone else is doing, you know. You shouldn't be doing what everyone else is doing. You should be doing what you do, you know.
If you're doing what everyone else is doing, you should be asking yourself why. You know, like, you know, you a lot of people don't, and that's fine. To each their own. But Sergio, I'm with you, bro.
Yeah,
so,
but you know, understanding your level of participation in something, why it is. Biggest thing, you know, I hear a lot of people just getting into collecting, or they want advice or something. Like, the quicker you understand your own personality, the quicker you understand like where your flaws are, or like how crazy you go into something, the easier time you're gonna have, because you're gonna eliminate a lot of errors along the way. Like, you know, when I started doing this, it was again back to being emotional, right? I was collecting just, you know, here and there, but I got into the whole Dr. Doom thing. It was right after my mom was diagnosed with cancer, right? It was like a time where I needed an escape. I needed that distraction. So that ended up, and I went down the rabbit hole picking up every single card. Like, after a while, I was like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, you know, let's figure it out. I have friends like Elusive who would come give me different perspective. Sergio come give me different perspective, and that's how us three, you know, started talking. Shout out to Vic. Shout out to all the homies along the way. Like, we became a little community on Instagram. We're in Facebook, you know, their community. When we talk about people and groups and cliques, they weren't really accepting us with open arms. Not, you know, some people were, some people weren't. But this all started from, you know, an emotional place. Now leaving that, and, you know, 2 years later, 2+ years later, yeah, it's like I'm pretty good where I'm at, or what I have. I'm definitely approaching, you know, the hobby, you know, more of an experience, and more to, you know, interact with people who, you know, I care about, or, you know, we trust each other, and like you referenced before, Manu, like, it gets, some of the stuff gets overwhelming. Like, that masterpiece thing was a big experience for me. I didn't have before. A modern masterpiece, opening a box on a live, like, it's not me. It's not what I do. I rarely buy boxes. I don't have those experiences. But I
I
set
was
out.
really happy that you were part of that, though, because it
Yeah,
introduced an energy that I was really happy to see as a part of that. Just, you know,
yeah. I mean,
personally.
it was fun, right? It was something that I wanted to check off the box. But afterwards, after hitting like a card, you know, everyone knows about it. Like, I'm also a guy who I don't go outside much. I don't want people really talking to
Yo,
me
you
too
sell
much.
that thing?
I did sell that thing. I sold it for pretty penny, you know.
No, I want to know the pretty penny. Count them pennies. I don't know.
It was,
Come
you
on.
know, it was
All
a,
right,
it was. I don't give the. It was $1,900 straight cash. You know what I'm
Congrats,
saying? Like,
dude.
it paid for everything. You know, it went well. But even after that, like, talking to Elusive that night, I didn't go to sleep till like 6 in the morning. I felt very overwhelmed. Like, the amount of likes and the messages, and just, it's a lot of things I'm not used to. And it is one of those things where you gotta kind of step away for a minute, you know, like, you can't, like, it's too much overload of like attention. I'm not used to it. I don't like it. So, you know, it has two different, it's a very unique experience. I'm glad I went through it, but I learned a lot. I learned a lot of how, you know, things work. I learned a lot of when you have something shiny, something new, and the amount of, you know, attention it gathers, that it's not for me, right? If I were to do something like that next time, it's just with the homies. Like, let's just do it behind the scenes. Let's not make things all like, I'm not used to that world. And like, just getting a glimpse, I don't understand how some people just seek that world or seek that feeling. It didn't resonate with me that way. I was glad to get them, fortunate, glad to move them away. I got what I wanted, you know, that experience left. And I learned a lot of things. I talked to a lot of new people, and I just gather that information and keep it going forward, see what happens. But it was a very unique experience for sure.
You have a very healthy perspective on that, and I think it reminds me it's on a much smaller scale than the comparison I'm about to make, but it reminds me of fame. Just imagine you do something that creates some notoriety, and all of a sudden people are clapping for you. You don't even know who they are. It feels good. And then imagine you do something again and it doesn't hit the same way. All of a sudden the crash feels more significant than the high did, right? You didn't know what the high felt like before you got it. And then you try again and you don't get it. You feel like, do I suck? Do people not like me? And you have to have that healthy perspective. It's like, oh, sometimes, exciting things happen. People enter your world. You have a perspective on it, but this is my concern for some people. When the new products are gone, when not everyone's cheerleading and rooting you on to open this new box, are they still going to be there for you?
Right.
It's kind of where I'm at with the whole thing. It seems very temporary, and collecting to me is not temporary. And enjoying something and liking something and hunting something, it could be a lifelong thing. But waiting for a new product to come out just so you can get high off of it again, that's some temporary type shit right there.
Yeah, that's a dangerous way to go. I would, assume if you were looking for that, then you're trying to look for something else, and it's better just to look in the mirror sometimes of why people are doing what they're doing. I think a lot of it too, like we try to like give opinions and educate people, or at least we look at it as education because we see it as education. We all here dig for stuff and we like information. We like to process stuff. Trying to give people warnings with time, like, yo, this is an expensive thing. Like, this is ridiculous price point. Like, make sure you guys go into it knowing what you're doing, right? Like, don't fall for the FOMO. And we have this in every collectible. It happens all the time. Is a certain, I just learned even just jumping on doing a podcast with these guys because I'm not a person who's speaking. I'm very private. I'm an introvert, right? I don't really do this stuff. But when we started, it was a mission. Like, okay, you're trying to gain a new skill. You're trying to say yes instead of no to certain things. After a while, we did episodes when we were doing it in the NSDC channel with like 30 people watching or whatever it was before. Like, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. You can tell them anything you want to tell them. It's pointless, bro. Just so at a certain point, it was just like, this is a mental check-in for us. Like, this is more for us than it's for people watching. I appreciate people checking in, but like, this is just us like checking in for the week or in 2 weeks whenever we gather ourselves around this, because we are passionate about the hobby, but it's a very personal thing for us. Like, we're also like checking in with our friends and making sure oh, what you've been up to, whatever. Like, as much as the cards are cool, it's about the community. And like, there's a lot of community, quote unquote community out there, but it's, come on, like, it's a lot of it's not real.
It's community that comes with the new release, and when the new release is gone, so is the congregation. Is that the word when people come together? Congregate? Yeah. That's all, and there's nothing wrong with it. I just had to check myself because I almost got caught up, like I was almost text messaging people. Here's when I was like, no, I'm not going to do this. It's when I felt a sense of urgency to know when the product was going to drop. And I was like, yo, who do I need to check in with to make sure I got the link? And the moment I had that thought, I was like, nah, I don't care about this at all. Because that's, I can't control whether someone sends me the link. I can't control whether I see it. And I'm not going to let myself feel like I failed or something because I wasn't able to buy something.
Yeah.
That's silly, bro. So that's when I was like, nah, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah, once you start feeling like urgency in something, you're like, wait, hold on, why? Why do I feel like I need to do this? Yeah. It's always healthy to really have at least a couple people around you to like make sure you know what you're doing, because people do, and I've heard it from other collectors. They get caught up, they spend thousands of dollars, and at the end it was just just trying to participate. It's just trying to be part of the circle, part of what's going on. I think for this release, for some people like me, it's just genuine. Like, we're excited. It's an experience we want, but it's dangerous, man. It's a lot of money people are playing with, and when
And
you
money's
see it's just too much. Like and we all know money leads to like real life. It could affect you mentally, like having a lot of debt and trying to tackle that. Like it could really affect you day to day. So just people make sure you're tapped in. You know what you're doing, and you question yourself. Question yourself is always great. I don't see it as a bad thing. We have conversations about life all the time. Like the hardest thing to do is look in the mirror, and when you can do that, then you're better off for it. Your approach is more genuine, and you should be good no matter what route you take.
Yeah.
I had that same experience with X-Men Metal. I indulged in some EPAC stuff, and I got some hits. Like I did get some hits. But overall, I mean, I would say, lesson learned. I didn't get into Spider-Man Metal. I bought a pack of like the 2020 Masterpiece just for fun, as like just for fun. Literally, it was like a bunch of friends like, hey, rip a pack, sure, like let's do a box rip for the fuck of it. Like fuck it, like why not? You never know, right? You could pull something crazy. So that's out there. But as a gambler, because I do like playing some poker. I got good odds. You know what I mean? My odds are good to hit something. So let's run it. Didn't hit anything crazy. Nothing wild. But the lesson learned is that I told myself, Spider-Man Metal, like like the hype and the pump and all that stuff. I was like, man, you know what? No way. Like I'm not getting into this like at all. You know what I mean? Like Spider-Man's not even my guy like that. So I'll do without.
What? How do I turn this shit off?
Turn it off.
No.
And what happened? What happened in between? Like me not buying any more product, and like to this point, I got just a bunch of gems. Like I don't have a bunch of base. You see these guys. Even on the Discord, shout out to Swami, but like see these guys trying to sell these base, and like every day they're putting a post and no one's buying it. Guys, that's the end result to like pretty much everything that comes out. Every product, every pump and dump, like you call it what you want. It is FOMO, it is excitement, but like like I said, I'd rather refocus my focuses and buy stuff that like I know you're not going to be able to get that anywhere else. Like this is like this is rare, never pops up. Like once in a blue, like hey, like once something that pops up 2 times a year, and it, like, and you're just waiting for it to come, and like you hit it. That feels so much better than like a hit, like in a card set that you're paying $500 for, and then you might not even hit. That I just wasted money. I just wasted energy over here when I could have just like put more energy over there. When I know that that's a win, and this is a maybe. Like that's guaranteed, and this is not. So, that's I don't. I'm not really going to be doing too much like newer product stuff, and I don't even like the newer product anyway. Like the look of it, and some of the stuff is weird. Like I said, like for me, the new Masterpiece looks modern. Like it does look. It's not bad. So I'll give it that. At least it's not a bad image of Doctor Doom. It's just not my favorite image of Doctor Doom. So I'll keep buying my comics and I'll keep doing my thing because that's what I like to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to touch on for me, originally I got into it just because I like collecting in general. And we're talking about pausing between things. I've noticed, at least for myself, like if I stop looking at cards, all of a sudden I might fall into start looking at diecast that I missed out on, or I might start looking at knives or different things, different passions that I have that I'm interested in. But ultimately, I think we all touched on it earlier. I think we all enjoy and are very comfortable with ourselves and by ourselves. But for me, that's a big part of the hobby is the relationships I've been able to build throughout this, coming up on 3 years now. Mostly because these are individuals that you're not going to have access to, in your normal life, just because either, the geography, Jesus is in Texas, Sergio's in Florida. Manu might be a little bit closer being, California himself, but Point being is these.
Well,
are
you
people,
don't know if he's in California. You never
yeah.
know where he's at.
Correct. According to when I received the comic book, he was in California, right? But
He's got y'all fooled. That's like a backdrop. That's like a green screen behind him. You know.
Yeah.
I
That's
collapse
not
it
real.
every time.
Yeah, it's not real. You know.
But for me,
Dave said, "What's behind that door?" I said, "No one will ever know."
Just to close out on that, the only thing I was going to mention is that the cool thing for me, you know, you guys mentioned like more and more new people come in, and like you said, Manu, most of them are going to leave. But I just see it as you like fishing with a net. Like it's going to catch the ones that matter, right? Whether you build relationships with them or they become part of the community. There's a lot of people that also stayed in the community that I never expected them to stay and be consistent the way they have been. But I think the most common denominator for me, who I decide to communicate with, is a lot of us. We all have our own egos. We have our own like, you know, taste or palates and certain things, and a lot of it is crossed over. But I think the main common denominator is like open-mindedness. Like I could talk to Manu, I could talk to Doom, I could talk to Sergio. And sometimes, or most of the times, I would say we don't agree on everything, but at least I feel like I come out of that with an understanding of where he or she was coming from, right? Like, and sometimes it helps me even like correct some of my own, you know, points of thought that I have that maybe I was wrong in, that I thought, you know, or I held a belief system that I didn't understand. It was just more of a habit at this point. And then I go, oh, is it still serving me? Well, it might or might not be, depending, you know?
Yeah.
But
Of respect, right?
Yeah.
Even if the opinions are different, we still have respect for one another, right? And so I remember one day on the Marvel show, I had made a comment about the uniformity of every signature on the Venom high series Venom card signed by Todd. And I was like, man, what if Todd decided to sign them all in different colors? That'd be whack. And then Doom was like, no, that would actually be dope. And I was like, dang, Doom just like disagreed with me, but I respect it though. Like I can dig that, you know? And that's that thing that made me look at it from that lens. I was like, wait, I guess that might be kind of cool, actually. You kind of rainbowed the signatures, you know? Like that's actually dope. But my opinion prior to him voicing his was, nah, all one color or else it looks weird. And then he said that and I was like, no, there's actually something to it. That is cool. So
yeah, I mean, it's always great to hear different opinions. Even like, you know, this masterpiece, because just I bring it up just because it's recently in mind, like amongst us three, like we disagreed on, you know, oh, this artwork or this artwork. But, you know, I mean, it's all, none of those opinions, like they all matter, right? Like we all have different tastes. We all have different perspective on it. Personally, I enjoy a lot of it. I think it's a huge step for me. It's one of my favorites.
Beautiful artwork. Me personally, I think it's beautiful artwork.
And, you know, a lot of like lesser characters really shine on this set, like to where
Kitty
you don't
Pryde.
really, Kitty Pryde is crazy. The Death Bird's crazy.
That's the one.
Just
like you know that Death Bird of the Kitty Pryde in person, like the actual like painted like piece, is crazy. Like it's gotta be crazy.
I bet. I heard Elusive make a comment about the Miles Morales. I'm not going to repeat it. But that made me laugh.
I mean, what wasn't he though?
Let me tell you. Dan is crazy good, and the set's crazy good. Now I'll let a cat out of the bag. I had seen that a long time ago. I just wasn't allowed to say shit. And not allowed. I could have said whatever I want, but out of respect for like, you know, whoever showed it to me, I was like, all right. And I didn't care. Even then, I was like, yeah, all right. Like, I just don't care that much. But I saw that card. I was like, I don't know. You know, like,
Exhibit A.
I don't know. You know, but that one with Miles, kind of, I think it's the battle spectra, him getting out of the way of Green Goblin. I think like that one's dope. Better. That one's dope. Yeah, I agree. That one's dope. That Venom though hurt my feelings.
I mean, he made up for it with the Battle Spectre, Gem, Venom, and Spidey. You know?
Yeah. My favorite card in the whole set is my favorite artwork, the one that just the moment I saw it, I was like, oh, I love that, is the canvas Spider-Man, the portrait card.
No.
That Spidey looks so good to me. And I'm critical, so I'm about to get critical. The canvas card, the base canvas, I guess that's what the base one is called, I think. The way that they put, and I don't have an image of it in front of me, so I might get this wrong, but the way that they put like the titling on it, it felt a little out of place. Like I felt like they could have made that more cohesive with how beautiful the card was. It distracted me from how beautiful the card was.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing the gallery ones, the foil ones, right?
Yeah.
And I was impressed. But then, being as critical as I am, like shout out to Neo. Neo pulled the 1 in 25, the pink one, right? And like I'm happy that happened. That's dope. But just being critically, aesthetically, I don't think the magenta or the pink looks good on the card, right?
Yeah.
And I really want to. I'm celebrating it because it's numbered. He pulled a 1 out of 25. I hope he sells it. He's gonna get like $3,000 for it. Like all of that's fantastic. But I didn't like the look of it, you know, and so I'm always looking at it like that. And I remember, I think it was Melfi. Shout out Melfi. I really get Melfi. Big shout out to Melfi. I think he pulled the one with the blue border, if I'm not mistaken. Was it Melfi?
No, I think that was Slick. I think that was
oh, that was Slick. Yeah,
Slick
that was
puller.
Slick. Shout out Slick too. That was dope. And I remember being impressed by that one. I don't remember. I think that's out of.
I think those are out of 50, maybe. I want to say.
So that was solid. I remember Justin pulled the red one. That's out of 99, 149.
149.
That looks best to me. The one.
Yeah,
with
the red one's
really.
What's the green is out of 10.
Green's out of 10.
See, that contrast pops. Oh, and here's the other thing, dude. Listen, this is beating a dead horse, but the centering on those cards is
terrible,
comical. It's a joke. And when you see one that's like decently centered, it's impressive, but it shouldn't be. It should be the norm. But when you look at eBay, the ones that are for sale, because I've been enjoying seeing what's on eBay. There's a lot of 2022 masterpieces on eBay.
Yeah.
And, you know, certain things are moving, like the 3 characters that you would imagine are moving. Everything else just got to sit in there. But the green one looks pretty good. What's the 1 of 1? Is there a 1 of 1 for a border?
It's a gold rainbow. It looks beautiful.
Have we seen it?
Not the Spider-Man, though. I don't think anyone's pulled it yet.
Wow. All right. So anyway, beautiful set. That's my favorite artwork out of the whole set. But again, sorry, Sergio, I'm a Spider-Man guy. I know you probably don't like that card, but I love that card. It's a good card.
No, I like the canvas, and I wish the canvas would have been like the main art, because the one where he's pulling the mask down, the one thing that, like, you know, I know that the whole like Gwen and the whole story, I understand it, I get it, but I also don't need to see that depiction every time I see Spider-Man. And like, I feel like like, you know, very often I see Spider-Man and I see Uncle Ben, I see Gwen, I see Goblin, and I don't want to see that, you know, like, they're like, the Todd McFarlane cards are a good example. Like, there's so many like good images of like angles that he hits, you know, that it could have been, you could have drew a Spider-Man in a different angle and a such better like light to represent like that character, you know. And the one with the mask, like I've seen the image too many times. Like, give me something else, you know, like give me him and like, you know, on top of a building in the rain or some like crazy like pose, you know, like you could do something else, you know, something more exciting. But like, you know, just him with like, you know, grandma in the back, like, come on, like I don't want to see that anymore.
I like it. Like, we've seen enough of like Todd poses and like action. Like, this is something different.
Well, he's a big fan of Todd, so he's gonna like support 100% like what the conversation with anything with Todd, you know.
I mean,
so
listen, enough of that exists. Like, it's nice to bring up a little different flavor. Like, if you give me the same flavor, like, it's cool, bro. But there's so many, like, something new is cool. Like,
you could just keep printing this image on cards. I will buy all of them. I don't care.
See, the Spider-Man that I know, right? Like the Spider-Man that, like, you know, the first Spider-Man comic I picked up was Todd. You know, like it was like Todd McFarlane style. You know, like that's what my cousin would have. So, you know, I would see it off of him. But Todd McFarlane, I mean, it's just, I mean, aesthetically, like, for sure, like top 3. You know, like 100% like top 3.
Dude, totally. Listen, I love the Masterpieces set. It's really great artwork. And I'm glad that we're talking about the set just based on the set. Like, I'm glad that we can be critical of things. like the speckled cards, the ones that look like the vending machine stickers. They don't do it for me, you know, and so that's cool.
Yeah.
The preserved in ambers are terrible.
Aren't those the best? What do you mean?
Yeah, no, man. I mean, I just don't. Personally speaking,
Yeah.
I can't get with that, man. Like,
No,
I
don't like them personally.
I can't. The canvas joints, amazing. The set has so many beautiful cards in it. I don't even. Oh, the mirages are cool. You know
Yeah.
You know, yeah. But I want to get back to that in a second. I do want to show some recent comic book stuff. Can I? Because we're talking about Todd.
Of course.
And so, like, even you know, even though I've been quiet in terms of like appearances, like, you know, being seen or whatever, like I said, I just went back to keeping myself occupied with the things that I love doing. And actually a bunch of really cool books have come and a bunch of cool things have happened. But these two here, one's a purchase and one's a grade. Super proud of these. I haven't posted these yet. These are both going to be posted on like my feed eventually. I don't do too much feed posts, so it takes a long time to get to books. Like I'll get it in 2 months later to get posted because I post like one thing a month. But on my stories, I'm always posting, you know. But my feed seldom, which is a shame because the feed posts, like many more people would see those. Maybe I should do more of that, right?
Yeah.
In any case, so Amazing Spider-Man 311, the Mysterio cover.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
I love this cover, right? So Todd McFarlane, Amazing Spider-Man 311. Now, I'm going to tell you why I love this one so much. Like, obviously, it's a newsstand, but it's not just a newsstand. Everyone here is familiar with Mark Jewelers, right?
Yeah.
So I bought this book raw for like, let's call it $50. And it's a Mark Jewelers. I graded it. I got a 9.8 white page.
Nice.
This is a ghost and a half. No, I've never seen a Mark Jewelers 9.8 of this book. I don't think anybody possibly has, you know, and CGC doesn't break them apart on the census, but they do the nice thing of like actually making note of Mark Jewelers on the label.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm super proud of this, right? Like this is what I love doing, you know, finding the high grade books, hoping they arrive safely, and getting them pressed, getting them cared for. So this was one that I graded into. And the other thing about this that is so amazing is like CGC encapsulated it perfectly. They didn't damage the book. There's no scuffs or scratches on the case. Like this makes me so happy. I'm going to be so proud the day that I post it. And I'm just happy to have this, right? So, and this is a book that people are going to want. And this is a book that I'm going to have to decide whether I'm parting with. Again, it would be great profit. It's going to sell for, you know, over $2,000 is where I would sell it at. And I'm like $250 into it, you know, pressing, grading the book. Just being completely candid, that's what I love about it. So I have no problem keeping this for years and years and years because, like I said, I got equity in this thing. I love having it, and I'm going to feel good for the price that it sells for if and when. But now, contrast to this one, another Mark Jewelers I added to the collection, again, Todd, this one I purchased. So this is 315. This is Amazing Spider-Man 315, and this is a 9.8 white page Mark Jewelers. And this cover, 316, is like one of my favorite comic books of all time, and everyone considers that the first cover of Venom because it's like the whole appearance of Venom on the cover. But this is actually the first cover appearance of Venom ever.
That's cool. Yeah.
That little dope-ass Venom head, that's like the sickest version. The McFarlane Venom is crazy. I grew up thinking this was Eddie Brock on the cover, but that's Hydro Man, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Right? And so this one I actually bought, and just to be candid about like the journey of collecting, this popped up on eBay for $2,000 or best offer. And what I did, it was $2,000, right? I think it was $2,000 or best offer, and it was My Comic Shop. And they're a consignment shop, so you can always just go to their website and deal with it there. So I went over there, and it was $1,685 or something, but you could make offers. So I shot an offer for $1,300. Like, I'll put my money where my mouth is on something that is this I've actually seen one copy of before, and that gentleman's not selling it. And it's the only time I've ever seen a 9.8 of this book before. And the way he got it was really interesting. But I shot an offer for $1,300, auto decline. I did $1,400 auto decline. And he's asking $1,680. So I'm like, oh, $1,500 is probably where he's looking for, right?
Yeah.
And you're only allowed to do 3 offers, and then you have to wait 10 days.
And you're
So
crazy and did under that.
Dude, I know I did 15. I was like, yo, the 15 is gonna hit. 15
Oh,
got
okay.
auto decline. So obviously I paid the full price. I just bought it for the 1680. But they charge
you gotta phone a friend right there. Be like, yo, like, you know, put it on credit. I'll sell it to you now. You know,
right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
This is the problem with being an independent operator. I don't have a friend to phone. You know? and so they charge a buyer's premium because it's a consignment book. So $55 is added on to the 1680 or something, and then tax. So I'm actually into this book like $1,920. Like, I like talking about the dollar amount.
Yeah.
So here's a $2,000 book that I'm into for like $250. And here's a $2,000 book that I'm into for $2,000.
Right.
But that I've never had it. I've never had an opportunity to grade it. And again, if I sell it, I'm going to sell it for $2,500 or more, right? And there are buyers out there that'll be like, give me. You know, they got more money than me, and they know how rare this is. It's just a matter of me making it available. So happy to have it. Those are my 2 most recent pickups. I'm super proud that they're Mark Jewelers 9.8s. I'm trying to level up my stuff, man. You know,
Let's level up. Stop talking about leveling up. We're trying to level up. Anyway, I got 2 things to say about that. Number 1, you and Sergio are wild with these offers.
What do you mean? Why?
What do you mean?
Well, you and Sergio are habitual.
Yeah. We'll ruin some stuff from time to time.
Yeah, 100%. Now, number 2, I did have a question on the comic side, because I hear you talking about that all the time, right? Like the journey of like buying it high grade, getting it shown some love, as you put it, which another one means clean and pressed, and then you get your 9.8s or whatnot. How often do you guys do any trades in the comic book world? Like, obviously there could be cash involved, but how many of it is just trades?
I trade a lot. Trades are just really difficult for me because I'm so damn picky. If you're going to trade me something, I have 2 criteria. I really, 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 really want it for myself, or it's liquid. That's it. But it also has to be liquid to the environment that I've created. You can't give me some liquid Pokemon card. Who am I going to sell that to?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Give me a liquid Todd McFarlane book. We're in business. You know? And then also, we all know this, because I was working a trade with a friend of ours today. We haven't established the trade yet. Hold on one sec. Oh my gosh. This book. The 9.2, though. I'm not parting with the 9.4, but the 9.2 of the Italian.
That's sick.
I'm selling the book for $550 cash if anyone wants it. But trade, I'm at $700. Because if you're going to give me 2 or 3 things, my time it's going to take to turn it into money. I'm not going to pretend it's the same amount of money. It's not. If I have to put an effort, it ain't the same amount of money. You know, and we're working on that right now. But the friend of mine that I'm working on with this, we've traded before. And he knows that I'm difficult to trade, but when we nail it, we nail it. Both people are happy. So maybe this gets traded, maybe it gets sold. I don't know, but I do trades, but they just have to make sense. Like, you can't just offload a bunch of stuff, you know, give me 10 things for one thing. And, you know, I'm not here for that. It has to work. It has to be something I actually want to get involved in.
Right.
But that makes sense. We're all that way. None of us.
Yeah.
You know, your selection with the comic there, the Italian Spider-Man 300.
Yeah.
When did you, like, where did you find that, or where did you, like, who did someone show you that, or like did you find it on eBay? Was it like some research done? Like, do you collect foreigns?
No.
I know you collect comics.
Yeah. So my relationship with this cover, first time I ever saw this cover was probably like, 3 years ago, like whenever I started getting on Instagram with comic books, because I didn't know this book existed prior to me being on Instagram. Yeah. And I had never been in foreign books, right? And I only recently got my first foreign books like a year ago, and 2 of them were gifted to me. And then I started buying like the high grade ASM ones when I would see them raw. And I learned some lessons really quickly. Like they ship terribly when you buy something from overseas. Like their culture of shipping, they do not care. And like
they do not care.
They do not care. So I learned some lessons, but it made me appreciate what a high grade is in one of these things, right? So I don't remember exactly when I saw this, but let's just say I saw the cover 3 years ago. What I remember is falling in love with, because how sick is the cover?
Yeah.
The cover, I don't call myself a foreign book collector. I call myself a cover collector. And this red Venom down here, this is my favorite version of an ASM 300. This cover looks way better to me than the ASM 300. And I love that thing. It's iconic.
The color match with the blue, like the font, like the trade dress, like it's just, you know,
Yeah, the blue with the highlight. And then fortunately, the blue label plays really well with it. I love the black. I love this pink hit here. I love the way it says Venom. I don't really care about the back, so we'll just ignore the back. But I had never owned the book, and I had flirted with the idea. Every now and then you'd see a raw, and I'd say, can I see a lot of pictures? And sometimes they send you, sometimes they don't send great ones, sometimes they send decent ones. And what I learned was, this is a really difficult book to assess. I could tell that it was like a cardstock cover. It's always got creases in it that aren't pressable, because once this book creases, it cracks. It's not like, it doesn't get like gentle finger bends. It gets real damage, you know? And so I had never bought a raw one. And every time I would see raw ones, they'd be a couple $100 at least. So I never risked it. And then I bought these both graded like a couple, maybe 2 months ago. The sales are probably still on eBay. One person listed both the 9.2 and the 9.4. And they listed the 9.4. I'll be candid about it. They listed the 9.4, I believe, at 1,000, and they listed the 9.2 at 700. And even those two prices, for some reason, to me, felt reasonable for how scarce it is in that grade. The highest grade in this book is a 9.6. There isn't even a 9.8. And so, and there's only 2 9.6s, maybe 1, maybe 2, I don't remember, something along those lines. I can't wait until I will try to do that. But I saw that 1,000 and I saw the 700, and I was like, that's actually not bad. But again, to Elusive's point, I wasn't going to pay it, And so I think I offered 600 on the 9.4 and like 400 on the 9.2. And then I think he countered back 450, which is where I bought this book at 450 plus tax and everything. I'm into this book a total of, it says right there, $492, right? So me selling it for 550 is not because I'm making money. It's because I don't want to lose money, and I'm done with this. I want the 9.6. I'm keeping my 9.4 until I get the 9.6.
It's a placeholder. Yeah.
I'm basically selling this for the same price I bought it for, because after shipping and the amount of packaging material I use, I'm pretty much breaking even, right? I don't know if anyone knows that, but if they do the research, they'll see that that's the price I paid for the book. But and so he accepted my offer on this, but he didn't accept my offer on the 9.4, and he countered, and then I countered again, and I ended up getting that one for 700 plus tax and shipping. So I'm into that one below 800, which I'm happy. I'm happy being in a 9.4 for less than 800, for $800, just call it. Yeah. But I don't need the 9.2. That's the only reason I'm moving out of the 9.2. I'm not making any money on this.
Especially when you know the culture and they send it to you on like a grocery bag, like a grocery bag, and just like you open it, you're just like, dude,
newspaper.
You just think like scarcity. That's it. Like it's just there's not many of these around. I'll take it.
Yeah. No, I love this book. And then what I've realized is everyone else geeks out when they see it too, but it is not publicly known how, like, even the look of it. This is new to so many people. Like it was new to me whenever I first saw it. Most people in the community are like, I've never seen that. That's amazing. But then they're like, why is it so expensive? And I got to tell them, well, where else are you going to buy a 9.2 from? Go find me a 9.2 and I'll match the price.
Find another one.
You're not going to find it. Yeah. Like look at the raws that people pay $250 for. Those things are not going to grade into the 9s. They're not. Anyway.
I got, of course, like, you aim for like a 9 or higher. And, I submitted a few yellow series, signature series, foreign books. And I showed the boys like the CGC like finally gave me the breakdown, and I was happy to hit above a 7.5 and above. especially from like, you know, like we talked about, like, you know, the way they handle things over there and like, you know, all that good stuff. They press them out, you know, obviously like the you know, the creases aren't going to go away, but you know, I think to hit like a 8 from like someplace, you know, like a Dutch Secret Wars, like, you know, number 1, I'll take that, man. You know, I'll take that over like a 3.5. You know, like if I had 3.5, I'd be like, fuck. You know, like.
Do you did you ask me that because like you had this on your page prior or something, and I didn't? Do you have this book?
No. I have the only well, I have like 2 or 3 foreign Spider-Man books. One of them being a 316, a Portuguese one, like little pocket style.
That.
Yeah,
they're smaller.
I like it because it's small. Yeah. It's small.
Those are dope.
Yeah.
So I have that
like
one.
That small?
No.
Pocket size?
It's like digest size.
Probably slightly bigger than those DVD ones.
Yeah, those ones I'm aware of. Yep, those are the first 2 that were gifted to me. Where I guess that style of foreign book, by Amazing Spider Guy. We all know the Amazing Spider Guy. Shout out,
Brian. And
Brian.
And other than that, I have a couple copies of ASM in like multiple languages. A few copies, you know.
Yeah, because he does love Spider-Man. It's all bullshit that he does, and we all know.
But, wait, no. Wait, I never said I don't like Spider-Man.
No.
I just said I don't collect Spider-Man.
You said he's not your guy, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think I remember many months ago. I'm pretty sure it was you, and you can let me know if I'm tripping. You sent me a message. You're like, man, if I was a Spider-Man collector, bro, like you got so much dope stuff, like on the stories, right? And I was 100%. Like, dang, you're right, because I'm so narrowly focused on that. Like I don't realize that anyone watching my stories, they're just like, man, all this guy sells is Spider-Man stuff, and it's like, yeah, pretty much.
and that's cool. You know what I mean? Because like I said, you have a good eye for picking like some of those. Like I like that you pick covers that it's not like, you know, the keys. You know, like what's always like considered the keys. Like it's always like the bigger comics, like the you know, the 300. 316 stuff like that. You show love to some other comics too, and you bring those comics to light. Like the Mysterio cover I've seen. You know, I've never seen a 9/8 Mark Jeweler. I don't even know, like, you know, like it's not in my lane to like look into see if that even exists. If it's in a 9/8 or like Mark Jeweler stuff like that, but you know, like the fact that you go down that rabbit hole deeper, like it's dope because, you know, it's almost like you do homework for me. Like I see something you post, like, oh, okay, like mental note, you know. Like that's how you like level up, you know.
I think that is exactly what I want to do. So what you're saying to me is like, I love that. Like that's exactly I want you to see something and be like, oh, that's dope. I mean, obviously, you know, why else do people share things? But I love that you appreciate what I share. You know, like that means everything to me, and I like that. And I don't know why no one's buying this book for $550. I guess I was wrong when I thought that was a fair price.
Yeah, I'm gonna show this, man. Since we're showing foreigns, I don't think you've seen this one before. These are the smaller kind too. I saw this cover probably like I don't know how many months back, but when I saw it, it was me, Sergio, and Doom digging, and it's by you guys' one of your favorite artists, Bill Sienkiewicz.
Oh, my guy Sienkiewicz, yeah.
Really?
No, I've never seen that. Man. I have never seen that.
Yeah, remember we were talking about this?
Yeah.
I really like the cover. That's from
Yo,
Thailand.
that looks like it's in high. You know, look how the barcode just cut off the bottom of that thing.
Yeah, dude, this is half a newsstand. Don't even worry about it. But check this out.
That is so interesting. Wait, that's a legit real book?
Look at the back. Yeah.
Wow.
Dragon Ball Z in the back.
Yeah, dude.
Bro, that's sick. I love that.
Yeah, this one's dope, man. I just like that cover. That's one of the best Bishop covers. And again, I don't collect Bishop, but again, when something catches my eye, I just think it was a dope pose with the gun in the back, and he's like sliding down in action.
Sienkiewicz. Sorry.
Yeah.
I get hella excited. Dude. I was like a child, man. Don't let me show.
No, shout out to Sergio. Like, yeah, they're very small. Like some of these forms are super small.
What is that one?
This is some sort of Namor Fantastic Four. I mean, it has Spidey. Yeah, just so you know, Manu, he definitely has a collection of Spider-Man. Like he likes to run on this thing that he's not.
Sergio, you contrarian,
you know.
Listen, I'm gonna show you some Spider-Man stuff that you may have never seen before.
Oh, he's digging through the boxes right now. Okay.
Kind of like the door behind you, Manu. There's a door next to him we don't see, but Spider-Man lives in there. You know, like
I'm into it, man.
Spider-Man, he might live in there.
I picked up this. This is the you remember the canvas 1996 Spider-Man Premiere. And they did the canvas sets. I picked this up for the low. I mean, you know, people probably don't think it's amazing. I love this card, the canvas.
It's dope.
Yeah.
You see, I bought the PSA 1 of the Carnage.
Oh yeah.
Right, so I had the 10, and I copped the PSA 1.
There's a 1. How the hell did it get a 1?
I paid $20 for it. It was Probstein's auction, and there's a crazy crease. You can't see it here. Just this whole down the thing is just this crazy wrinkly crease down the length.
That was a good idea to send it in. Those people.
That's really I'm like, what kind of card assessment was that to submit that? They completely didn't look at it. So I love that I have a 1 and a 10. I just think that's
the alpha and the omega.
There you go. And I have no interest in filling in the in-between. None whatsoever. I don't need a grade bow it. You know, I just, the 1 and the 10, the bookends make me happy.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I hear Search digging. You don't get often when you see Search digging.
Right. You know, we don't get this.
He wants to show some stuff.
Yeah, he's excited.
You guys got any Super Nintendo video games for sale? You guys got any like complete in-box game collectors that you know or you are or anything?
No. Well, I was too late to that. I went to when I tried and I looked at what some of the stuff's going for. I was like, oh no.
That's crazy.
There's some stuff that I really want, but I can't get myself to pay the prices for it, man. It's really expensive already.
You're still holding this Bagley for me, right?
My man. You know, I tried to sell both of them. No one bought them, so yes, I am still holding them for you.
They're meant for me. That's why.
I put up the signed one for $700, and someone offered me half, and I was like, I mean, do you want me to counter, or are you actually at $350? Because no, you know, like, I'll sell you the blue label for close to $350, but I can't sell you the signed one for $350, man.
No, we can't do that.
And I didn't even. Maybe I don't remember. Obviously, it was too far away for me to make it happen because I didn't want to. I didn't want to sell it for $500 or $550 the signed one. Like, to me personally, ever since I bought that signed one, I've never seen another signed one pop up. So I just like it too much. Like, for $700 that day, I was feeling froggy. You know, I was like, yeah, let me get $700 today. You know, and it didn't go, and I didn't try to sell it again.
Nice. Yeah, that's a nice one, man. Just keep. I know it's safe in the undisclosed location.
Listen, when you get one of those 2022 Marvel Masterpiece PSA 10s, one of the few in the set that I like, we'll trade.
There you go.
I don't know if I'm gonna get one of those, but we'll figure it out.
Or if you end up with a PSA 10 of that Venom card, the retro card that's only in 9s right now, right? When you end up with a 10, would you sell it? And if you were to sell it, what do you think you would price that card at?
The retro insert one?
Yeah, the one where you're shooting through the buildings. You know, that dope Venom image.
Version.
Now you've got like 7 of them.
I mean, 5. Well, I see what you're saying. Hey, I don't be counting your wizards. 7. Hey, I don't be counting your wizards over there.
Hey, even if you did, you'd only know about half of them. Not everybody.
Wow.
I started this wizard thing. I was joking about the masterpieces, but I started this wizard thing, okay?
Let them know,
I'm buying since the beginning.
Yeah,
I just got a monster too. Hold on. No, it's okay.
No, go ahead, man. Yeah, you're talking about this one right here, then, right?
Yeah. Yes. So if you 10 one, or what do you think a 10's worth when a 10 shows up is my question.
I mean, look, unlike you, I would love to do that, but I feel like I'm telling on myself because I would want to buy the 10 too.
Oh, I got
it. But I'll tell you, I'll still give you a fair assessment. But, you know, there's the price, like you said, what do you think it goes for, and then what you would pay for it. Those are different prices, right?
They are different prices. Yes, they are.
But I think a PSA 10 is probably worth $500-600.
Oh, that's low to me. Okay, well, I love that assessment then. Yeah. Fair.
That's what I would say.
Cool. Dude, there's a man. See, this I'm gonna keep tight-lipped about. But I just feel like saying it just to say it. There's a card on eBay for $1,500 with no best offer. And like at 2:00 in the morning, I messaged the guy a question about the card. And he responded. I was like, oh gosh, he's awake at 2 a.m. Maybe he wants some money. I said, would you take $800 for this? And he was like, no. I was like, all right, good night.
You shot your shot.
it's 2:00 in the morning. You're responding to an eBay message. You'll probably take some money. You know what I mean? Like, you got this card up here for 8 months for $1,500. I'm giving you $800. You might take that. It wasn't half. Half would have been $750. I didn't do half. I did $800.
Hey, but on that note, look, if I do end up sending one, just ship that Bagley Auto. Don't even worry about it. We'll do a little straight swap. You know what I mean?
Yo, I would do that actually.
All right, for sure. I'll
There
keep
you
you in
go.
I
mind.
would do that actually, because when you put a 500, 600 on that, I personally wouldn't want to sell that card for 500 or 600, right?
No.
So I'd be looking at it like, you know what? To me, I'm bringing in something into my collection that I believe to be worth between 700 and 900 in exchange for something that I believe to be worth between 700 and 900.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, for
reasonable to me.
Yeah.
And I love that card. I love that image. So that would work for me. And plus,
Yeah.
I'd still have the blue label.
Yeah, I recently moved one of the 9s that I had for the original, the 1990 comic images. I had both the top pop. There's no 10s on those. I had both 9s, and I moved the 9.
Nice.
Wait, the same image
Yeah. I'll
from
show
the
you.
1990? Yes.
Yeah.
From this set.
The
No,
90
that's
images?
89 from this set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no 10s on that one yet for that one. They were both.
Yeah.
And the retro insert, it is more appealing to me, even though it's not vintage per se, like the 91 is. But the colors are more vibrant, and it's an insert versus it's not like a base card, right? Like on the 90s card, you're paying for condition rarity, where this one is actually rare. On top of the fact that the condition is tough to get a 10 on too.
Right. Sergio, what'd you pull out for us?
Yeah, so I want to show, a couple of recent pickups. I picked originally. I found this one. I'll show you this one first. I found this one because Human Torch was in it, but as you can see, your boy Spider-Man.
Whoa.
Oh, that's sick.
That is pretty sick. Yeah.
Educate me, please. What is the origin of this? Why is it? What is it?
So this comes from Spain. So these got sold with like little candies and stuff. So they had like little card sets. Oh my god,
bro.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, that's wild.
Right?
Yeah.
So it was a dope Torch, and like Torch and Spider-Man pop up pretty often. So you will be seeing some Spider-Man stuff from me with some
sick.
Torch stuff on there. So I picked that up. This is one of those things, like, it has a little rip, but it's like one of those things that it's like, man, you know what? You're not going to see that every day,
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have that. So, I picked that up, little Spider-Man pickup. This came
my first time ever seeing that or anything like it.
This came with it because he sold like two little like sticker cards.
That's
What
wild.
the hell?
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's doing the Matrix, the Neo move right there.
Yeah, he sure is.
Much see, like, red and blue Spider-Man, much better pose, no spread cheeks for Peter. Just throwing that out there.
Spread cheeks. Pause.
And look, I'll be honest. This is my favorite. This is my favorite Spider-Man card that I personally own, because I own a couple base cards, like some 94 Fleer, stuff like that, whatever. But this is my, like, I picked this up. It's the only one that I found, and I was like, man, that's such a good picture.
Wow.
That was pretty dope.
Such a good image.
That's crazy.
Oh, I'm not saying anything just because I'm enjoying looking at that. I've never seen like vulnerable Spidey just chilling on a
Dude, you know what, the vibes that those, to me, like when you find stuff like that, Sergio, the only other person I think that would have scooped that from you would have been someone like Andrew, right?
Yeah.
Andrew, I think, would have scooped that for sure.
I don't know if you guys can see, but right here, like, there's a little text and it says "Thwip."
Oh, I do see it, like right over the window there. Yeah.
Yeah, like right, like there.
Oh yeah.
So I really like that image, man. Like, it was such a Spider-Man like sitting down. It wasn't like an action shot. It wasn't like it wasn't Tom McFarlane Spider-Man in the rain. I just picked it up and I saw it. I was like, man, he's like thinking, he's pensive, and I was like, I'm gonna pick that up, man. I've never seen it, so that's my recent Spider-Man pickup.
I mean, that's way more amazing than I anticipated. Like, you definitely pulled out some stuff that is off the beaten path. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's something he recently picked up, huh? Yeah, that's crazy. At the beginning, he
He's so
wasn't picking
stupid.
up anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay.
I wasn't. This was a while ago. It's been a
It's
few.
I guess I'm a new exclusive. It's cool though.
Thank you, my man.
The Spider-Man collectors here. Come on, like
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it.
You're with your own kind right now.
Oh wow! One week, it's Eugene as your Spider-Man collector. Now it's Manu. That's crazy.
Wait, you guys did an episode with Eugene?
No,
but we're just giving Sergio shit.
Sergio.
He got cards, man. Like he's got good taste in cards.
Yeah.
I'm done with this. You know anybody that wants this? I'm over this thing, man.
I'm not sure.
This shit's a wrap for me. This one, man. I'm done with it.
No more.
I mean, if you
I didn't even put my price tag on here.
You want it? Just mail it to me. Don't even worry about it.
I think I ended up paying like $85 for this or something.
Yeah, if anyone's looking for that, hit up Manu.
Please.
9.9 Newsstand.
$85 shipped.
Yeah, don't come with this. Isn't like half off type shit. Like, put some respect on Manu. Give him, the right price.
I mean, it's Bianchi. Everyone loves Bianchi, right?
Bianchi's awesome. Yeah.
Buy the Bianchi.
Yeah. let me ask you a comic question, Manu. What is there a comic that like eluded you for like a while, and you're just like, dude, it gets away from me. I lose my bid. Like, what's going on? Like, is there that comic that like brings you back to a moment where you're like, dude, like, damn, like, what the fuck? Like, why can't I win this book? Like, why can't I obtain this book? Is there like any book out there that's done that to you? That maybe you missed like a couple sales, like you slipped on it, and you're like, or you just don't miss, and you're like, nah, like, I missed once, and it didn't happen again.
I definitely have missed out on so many auctions, right? But I've never felt like a sense of loss. I'm like, well, someone wanted it more, like it didn't work out. But what the question you're asking, the way that I'll answer that is I've had misses with grading, and I'm like, why does this 9.8 keep eluding me? More than because I can't even think about like, damn, I'm never able to buy that book. Like, if I really, really want the book, I'm probably gonna buy the book, And if I didn't bid high enough, it's because that was my max, and I'm fine with that. I never felt like someone beat me. I felt like it wasn't right for me because I had a max. But I do sometimes feel like, how come I didn't get that 9.8? Like, for instance, that Sienkiewicz Maximum Carnage Acclaim book, right? Some people know my history with that book. 2.5 years ago, I started grading that book. And 2.5 years ago, I graded 7 or 8 copies of that book. And I got like 6 9.6s. And the thing is, I got 6 or 7 9.6s, and it was way more expensive then. It was still it was a profitable endeavor. I had bought the copies for like $300 to $400 a piece. A lot of them in bulk, a lot relative for that book. Like, buying 8 of those copies is crazy. Like, where do you even get those from? And then I was selling 9.6s for $2,500. Anyone listening, I know I'm talking about money a lot. It's just what I do. I'm sorry. But now it's quite different, because now I have a 9.6 with a custom Carnage label, and I can't even sell it for $999. So the market has shifted. The enthusiasm is different right now for that book. But after I graded my best copies and got 9.6s, I ended up selling raws. And then one of my friends, who I'm very happy for him, it's still in his PC, and hopefully if he ever sells it, he'll let me know, and I'll either middleman it or buy it and sell it to someone else. Regardless, forget what I just said, but you know what I mean. Like, I hope when he parts with it, he hits me up. I sold him a raw copy. He got a 9.8. And I'm like, bro, I just graded like 6 or 7 of my best copies. Got 9.6s across the board. And I sell the first one I sell, you get a 9.8. I'm not selling no more. And I sold a couple that I knew were not going to be 9.8s, and one person ended up with a 9.6, and he's happy. But I bring that up because that was one of those books where the 9.8 kept eluding me, and I was submitting 9.8s. They were really strict on that book, but I'll tell you, at that point in time, there were 0 signed 9.8s on the census, 0, and there were only 7 or 8 blue label 9.8s. Now the blue label 9.8s are at 22, and the signed 9.8s are at 2. One of the signed 9.8s I owned, and I just recently sold. And people were like, how could you sell that?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I had looked at the census and I was like, yo, the Blue Label census grew to 22. I know I can get a 9.8 now. And when the next Sienkiewicz signing happens, I'll add the third Yellow Label. Let me get the money for this book. I sold that book for like, I forget the exact amount, but it was over $4,000, right? It's worth selling. It's like when you look at a book and you're like, I could make this, so let me go ahead and get my $4,000. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And so I sold it. And the buyer's super happy because the buyer, anyway. But so what I did was one of the 9.6s in my PC that I graded 2.5 years ago. I was actually getting ready to sell the book and no one bought it. But no, actually, that's not true. It might have sold. I don't know. It's tough market for that book right now. But in like 5 or 10 minutes into me listing the book, someone said, yo, that's a really clean one. Do you think it's bumpable? And then I looked at it and I was like, I actually do think it's bumpable. I'm not selling it. So I put up another story. I was like, sorry, guys, I changed my mind. And then I cracked it out and I put a picture of the book next to its label because I literally 5 minutes after posting it, I cracked it out. And I said, I'm submitting this. I 9.8'd that book.
Oh, wow.
A 9.6 from 2.5 years ago came back a 9.8 now. So yes, the 9.8 eluded me, but one of those books that I knew should have been a 9.8 rightfully became a 9.8. When I was selling the book, I think I had it up for 1,400 or best offer for like 5 or 10 minutes. That book came back a 9.8. My personal satisfaction of knowing I 9.8'd it, that's in my personal heart collection forever. I've done it. So I sold that book. I put that book on my Instagram page. No, I never put it for sale on my Instagram. I put it on Elite for like 3,000 or 3,100. I don't remember. Only for one day I put it up. And it didn't go. Then I listed it on eBay, and I listed it on eBay for 3,200 or best offer. And a lot of people hit me because the 9.8s people really want. The 9.6s, they're kind of like, meh, I want the 9.8, you know?
Yeah.
And it ended up selling for $2,900 2 weeks ago on eBay, which is a nice recorded sale for that book too. Let's start stepping that book back up in the values in terms of recorded sales. And then in my pocket, I got $2,497. And that gentleman parted with $3,190 something. So he actually ended up paying $3,200 for the book. People should know that people are willing to spend over $3,000 for that book. And I got $2,500 in my pocket after fees for a book that I was going to sell for $1,300 a month before.
Yeah.
And so that was a book that eluded me. And then it all happened. And the reason I tell those stories in such detail is just because I freaking love every part of it. Like every bit of that story, even me telling it, I'm enjoying that ride again. That's the sort of involvement I like in the stuff that I deal in.
Mm-hmm.
That's the level of involvement that I respect, appreciate, and really, really am about. And that was one that eluded me. But look, 2.5 years later, we did that. It happened. The book that I'm working on right now and it's at CGC right now, and I haven't been able to do it, is the Wizard 1 Newsstand. I've 9.8'd the direct editions. The Newsstand Wizard 1 I have it 9.8'd. I've 9.6'd them.
What about the Comic-Con one?
No, I've never 9.8'd an SDCC. Have I even had a 9.8 of an SDCC? No, I don't even think a 9.8 SDCC has been in my possession. But without getting too much in those details, is the 9.8 SDCC has actually become less valuable than the direct. There's more 9.8s of an SDCC than a direct because that actually did come out of a recent warehouse box, and about 100 of those were submitted that were uncirculated.
Wow.
They were supposed to be destroyed after SDCC. They weren't. They were kept, and about 50 of them became 9.8s. And they are fresh 9.8s on the census right now, about 40 or 50 of them. The way that you know which ones those are is they have a file copy designation. So the ones that are not file copies are ones actually from the world that became 9.8s. The ones that say file copy, anyone could do the math and determine who submitted those books. Those ones are the ones that were uncirculated in their 9.8s. I personally don't value those as high as a naturally circulating 9.8. The Newsstand, there are now 4 9.8 Newsstand file copies as well, but only 4, because even that gentleman had no more Newsstands. The Newsstand Wizard 1 is the second grail in terms of Wizards. The first one is the direct edition signed by Stan, which obviously is my prized possession.
Yeah.
Like I prized possession. I love that book. And the reason that's so special to me is I verified that was the only 9/8 signed by Stan when there were only 4 9/8s on the census. And so I was able to verify it. And obviously no one can create another one of those, rest in peace. But a 9/8 newsstand, as scarce as it is, can still be created, and I'm actively working on it. I have a 9/6. It was a slab 9/6. It is now at CGC because I believe that it was just a press away from a 9/8. In a couple of days or a couple of weeks, we'll know if I nailed it. It's going to be a heartbreak if it comes back a 9/4. If it comes back a 9/6, great.
Yeah.
Like, I'll accept it, and I won't shoot again. But if it comes back a 9/4, you know I'm going to make one of those angry reels about CGC. But that's one that I'm working on. Like, I have not been able to 9/8 a newsstand. And bro, when there was it was like whenever the excitement and enthusiasm for graded Wizards was kind of peaking about a year ago, or maybe a little less than a year ago. There's a huge comic book selling family company called Reese's Comics. They're dope. They're like really big. And Austin is one of the young people that are, I think, part of the family that owns it. And he hit me one day and he goes, "Hey, how many 9/8 newsstands are there of Wizard 1?" And at this point there were only 9 9/8s, right? And I said, I can verify that 8 of those 9 9/8s are not newsstands. There's only one copy I haven't seen. And so my assumption is there are none. He immediately sent his finest copy. Hey, there's a cat in the background.
Yeah.
I love cats.
Oh my
It's
God.
crazy. I didn't know Sergio had a cat. Yeah, that's awesome. And so he immediately sent his finest copy, gets the 9/8, listed on Comic Connect. It's the first time anyone had ever seen it. And it sold for $18,300. Right? Jesus. He was sleeping when it sold. I actually was going to try to buy it for below 12 grand, right? This shit shot past 12. I didn't even get a bid. Maybe I got a bid, and I don't remember. Maybe I got a 10.5 in there. I don't remember. And then I hit Austin with a screenshot. I was like, "Congrats!" And he's like, "Oh shit, I forgot about that. That's amazing." And so that one sold for $18,300. And then the file copy ones hit, and the file copies ruined the Wizard market because like 10 9/8s, he listed them all at the same time on eBay. And I told him, I said, "That's not the way, brother." And I had just sold a direct edition for $6 grand. And here he is selling 9/8 direct editions. Each sale's $1,000 below the previous sale. So he's burying this book all the way down to $3,000 per 9/8. Now you can probably buy a 9/8 direct for $1,700 if anyone's even foolish enough to sell one right now, because he put so many on the market. SDCCs, I know a friend of mine that paid $7,300 for an SDCC 9/8, and this guy gets 40 some odd 9/8. So you won't get anywhere near that now. You probably won't even get $2,500 for one currently. They have to trickle into collectors collections. But what was devastating was he put his newsstand file copy on Heritage. It sold for $5 grand. So there was an $18,000 sale, and then he graded as many 9/8s as he could, and he took that next sale to $5. And I was like, "Yo, that really sucks, but that's still enough meat on the bones for me to want to grade one." You know? And so, but if I grade a 9/8 in the newsstand, I'm not selling it for less than $7,500. Like, I want to sell it for 10 to 12. I don't know if I'll get that, but that's probably what I'll shop it around at. But now I'm thinking, if someone offered me like 7,500, I'd be happy, you know, like that's because I graded it. But if someone offered me one for like 7,000, I'm actually probably a buyer. But if I buy one for 7,000, I'm definitely not selling it for less than 10. Like, I'm looking for the $10,000 buyer at that point. Sorry, that was long-winded, but Sergio got me thinking about books. That's the one I'm working on currently. I really want a 9/8 newsstand of a Wizard 1.
That's good that you're still, like, you know, looking for that book, and you've been dealing with like the whole wizard thing for so long, you know, like it's still like a mission. So
and another thing I'll say about that is it's because the reason I love it is because I actually love it. You know, it's like we talk about. If I just saw an opportunity and I was just trying to get in there to get my money and get out, I wouldn't still be 3 years dealing with Wizards. I already did my thing a year ago. You know what I mean? Like I would have did, but I actually love it. It's a win-win. It's like, oh shoot, I get to participate in a market that's bubbling, and I get to sell into the market, and I still have passionate objectives to continue being a part of it. That's because we deal with things that we actually love. And the fact that it makes money just makes it better. Like, I am not ashamed of that. I think that's magic. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's
go ahead.
I mean, just hearing those stories from like the comic book side of it, where you can have like a journey where you grade a book, or being able to make a 9.8, like that's something in the card market, like it's just non-existent. You can't, as soon as you get something, it is what it is. Like there's no workable grade upgrade, and if there is, like there's a lot of
No, I heard
crossover.
Yeah, it's different.
I heard they got some kits that you can use on the cards and you can level up.
So where do you guys stand on that, man? I'll be honest with you. I'm going to get my opinion out real quick, and then I want to hear you guys' opinion. If you have a corner of a card that's bent up and all you got to do is push it down, I'm pushing it down. Okay. Where do you guys stand on that?
I mean,
look, if I'm buying a slab, I don't give a shit how you got to it. If it looks nice, then I'll buy it, right? Personally, am I gonna do it?
If you were trying to submit, if you're trying to submit, it's tough.
I'm not
You're
doing
not gonna
that.
push down a bent up corner before submitting it.
First of all,
where do you stand on
I don't even
it?
submit cards to begin with like that. But no, it just seems like too much effort. Like that.
It depends on the corner of the card. If the corner you could push it down where it created no crease or anything, sure.
Yeah.
But if it's still noticeable that it was pushed down and there's a crease, no.
Well, on most cards it's gonna be noticeable because a lot of the surface isn't like just regular paper. So like, but people do that. I mean, people who don't approve messing with cards, like people stack them in between books and flatten them out if they can. Like people do what they do.
Yeah, Cold Card Life, Michael Seltzer.
Michael.
He was talking about the same subject, and he said, he goes, if it's only a corner, I'm pushing the corner down. He said the same thing. So I think what it is because you guys are, and I totally understand it, right? But I understand Doom and Sergio too. It's since you guys are coming from the seller's perspective, it makes sense. But from the buyer's perspective, I mean, obviously that's also up to us to buy one. I mean, as long as who's going to disclose that too, though? You know what I mean? Like no one's.
Yeah, how are you going to know?
If you don't know, you don't know. Then it's not even a conversation.
I would just say do your due diligence and look at as many photos as you can of the slab. And if you're comfortable and happy with the condition that it's in, and it's in a 10, then buy it.
Using the chemicals, I can understand why you don't know the long-term effects of that yet. What if you buy the slab 3 years later, the whole thing turns yellow or something because it's like gassing, like that.
I've seen a couple yellow slabs out there, PSA 10.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder what the cause of that was. That might have been okay. Yeah, that would be a concern for me.
I've also noticed like PSA 10s in certain sets where I see 2 10s and one of them's colors are a little bit faded. But unless you had a better copy next to it, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So because it has contrast in that sense. But there was 2 10s and one of them was clearly like color faded.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I remember this was about 3 years ago. I sent a basketball card submission into PSA. There was a bunch of Kobe rookies in there. And one of my favorite Kobe rookies is this, I forget the set. I think it's a top set. I don't remember the set, but it's a white border and he's like, he's got the cast on. That's why it's so amazing to me. Like
the one that turns green?
The card turns green?
The condition is that there's one where like it has like a green, it has a.
Isn't that the chrome? That's the chrome
one,
though, right?
Chrome.
Those are the chromes.
This is just the base one. I just love the card because it's got the cast on it, right? And as I was prepping the card for submission, I dropped it. And I only dropped it a couple inches, but on the table, right? And it was devastating because the centering was good on the card. And I had the little thing on the corner. Bro, I spent the whole night massaging that corner. And I still only got a 9 on that card, dude. And I'm like, if I didn't drop it, we'll never know what that card could have been, man.
For sure.
And that was a different time. Those cards were like 2x what they cost right now. Like everything was crazy. All the cards were super expensive. You know, it made a lot of sense to grade and sell immediately back in 2021. Oh, but you couldn't even get an immediate return. You were waiting 7 months to get your submission back.
Yeah,
It wasn't even like that.
Yeah, PSA was backed up. Crazy.
Yeah, that I remember that submission took forever. That was the submission, Elusive, where one well, it wasn't just sports cards, because the other card I sent in that was the Marvel Masterpieces Signature Series Emotions Spider-Man with the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah,
that one's so good.
I love it. And that was actually my childhood card. I submitted it, got the 10. And even though I loved the card, again, the experience of doing it was enough for me. And at that time, it was a pop 2. Or no, it was a pop 1. And now it's like a 2, 3, 4, who
5.
knows? It's a 5? Wow.
Yeah, this one.
At
We're
that
talking
time,
about this one, right?
that's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and I listed it on eBay and I sold it for like $900. And I was
That's a
happy
great
with that.
sale. The last sale on that card, mind you, was about 3 weeks ago or so, and it did $225.
Big difference early 2021 to now.
I will say in the defense on that one, it was an obvious 9. In the back of the card, there was a white corner. Yeah, so I think that's why it went so low. The one previous to that did 500. I think that's where it should be at. 500.
Oh, Sergio, another book, Amazing Spider-Man 300, the Newsstand. I've never been able to 9.8 the Newsstand of that book.
Yeah, that's a big.
I don't want to buy it because it's 12,000, 15,000. Yeah. I have to 9.8. I don't buy books that expensive. Like I will if I have, someone that I know I can, sell it to in a month or two's time. Enjoy it and be out of it. But you won't catch me paying $15,000 for a book and then just like having it. I can't.
What's the most? Oh, that's a good question. Then, what's the most you're willing to spend for a PC book? Truly PC, which I know that's a loose term around here, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
whoa,
5,000 probably. 5.
Okay.
Yeah, 5,000 probably.
That's a good amount.
Now, let me ask you, because I know that you bought a couple. You bought a couple, graded copies of comics. Do you like go to cons and get stuff signed? Like, do you have like signed books that you got like yourself? No.
No, my only signed books that I got myself are actually from my childhood and they're still with me. My mother used to take me to conventions and stuff like that. The last con I ever went to, I'm not a con goer. The last one I ever went to was 1997. I was 12 years old, and it was WonderCon in Oakland, California at the Marriott on Broadway. And I still have signed pieces from that convention. And some of the stuff I recently sold, like when I first started selling online 3 years ago, because I had duplicates of certain things. Like the program, it was the Alex Ross program, the catalog that comes when you go to the con. I had 2 of them signed by him. I sold one. In any case, the last time I had anything signed by artists in person were at comic book stores, small shows in the 90s, literally when I was between the ages of 9 and 13. Sorry. And then I don't go to cons because this is a deeply personal thing to me. Like I'm very intimately involved with the things that I love. The public side of it is sharing them, and the public side of it is selling things, right? But in terms of the group activity of let's all go to a con, I'm not a let's all sort of guy, And then another thing shifted for me a long time ago. Even though I really admire and respect artists and writers, I'm not really too moved on the idea of meeting them in person. It doesn't add to my respect for them. It doesn't mean now I'm going to have breakfast with them or call them tomorrow. It doesn't mean I know them any more than I know them already. It's the same reason that I have certain artists, musicians that I love listening to. I don't care to go to their concert because I'm just another person looking at the stage. What's the difference between that and me watching it on YouTube? There isn't one to me. The experience of going is not what I'm here for. The experience of engaging with the things that I love personally is 1000% what I'm here for. And then the other thing that turns me off about cons is, first of all, I don't like large groups. I guess that's apparent about me now. I have anxiety, so that's another thing, right? I don't like traveling to something. And even when it's nearby, I usually blow it off. Like I was going to go to Shortbox, which is an app that you buy comic books on, right? and they did their first ever convention in San Jose, and they're a Bay Area company. So like, I respect that. I respect a startup. Like, I love that, right? So I support them. I love them. And they released the tickets to the show, and I bought the tickets, or one ticket, you know, and I didn't go because that day Dave was in town, and he was like, let's get coffee. And I was like, yeah, let's get coffee. And that's like the first con I would have gone to.
I'm surprised he wouldn't have wanted to go check out the short box.
He actually,
I figured Dave had like any chance. He's like, let's go see this comics.
He was down, and then like, you know, Andrew, obviously Andrew, we talked about Andrew, but Andrew Dave wanted to kick it with Andrew too. And I was like, that just sounds more fun. Like us getting together. And it took, I don't really meet people like that. Right. But I was like, I would rather hang out with you two, have coffee, and go to a comic book store, which is what we did, than go to this con. Even though I would have enjoyed going there, it seemed like so much of an effort when we can have an intimate, great time together and really enjoy our day, defined by us. And then one of the other things that I really hate about, hate's a strong word. One of the reasons that I don't go to cons is I wouldn't buy anything at a con. Those books are priced way more than what I would want to pay for them. And they're priced more than I even sell books for. Like, con prices are insulting to me, you know? Like, I want to be the person telling everybody, you don't need to buy it off of the con wall. It's crazy. Like, a book that I would sell for $1,500, you'll see on a con wall for like $2,500. It's like, where are they getting these numbers from, and who's buying them? But the truth is, not everybody hunts the way that I hunt. Not everybody's on eBay 75 hours a day. You know, they wait for cons to buy the books. I always forget. It's a matter of perspective.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know what's going on in the actual trade of comic books every single day. Like the way you guys, well, you know, Sergio, you're more into comic books than both Elusive and Doom, right? Am I correct for saying that?
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, he's much more like, we just recently started picking up stuff. You know,
but
1 year, it's been a year for me. Yeah,
and when it comes to like the way Elusive talks about the values of cards and stuff, he's in there, right? Like, I'd go to a card show, and I wouldn't know what Elusive would know about the values of those cards, you know? In the same way someone would go to a comic book convention and look at the wall books and be like, that's what it is? Nah, man, that ain't what it is. That's what they're trying to sell it to you for.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, I would assume that a lot of it has to do with, which is still probably not it doesn't justify it, but I'm assuming it's because of the overhead cost of paying for the booth at the con. You know, it's probably expensive.
Absolutely. Well. I have to do a better job of putting myself in other people's shoes to understand the why, you know. Admittedly, I do a bad job of that. I think about the way I do things, and then I'm like, that's it, you know. So that makes sense. But bro, can you imagine being someone that packs up $2 million worth of books, puts them in the back of a rented van, and drives to a convention? I would be so stressed out. I can't do that.
That's tough. Yeah, 100%.
You know, the thing with, like, you know, comics, for me, like, the reason why I go to cons is, like, you know, obviously, like, a chance to, like, you know, meet someone that you're a fan of and just be like, hey, what's up, man? It doesn't have to, like, be, like, super personal, you know? Right. I really just want to get, like, my PC item, like, slabbed and, like, sent back to me. Like, that's like the main, like, mission, you know? Like, I go to cons by myself. Like, I don't go to cons with a bunch of people. Like I'll buy a ticket for one day. I go do my thing, you know, like, wait in line, blah, blah, blah. I'm out the door. You know what I mean? I'm having lunch by, like, you know, 5 p.m. a late lunch, you know? And that's, you know, it's fun. You know what I mean? Like, for someone that, you know, I think the longer that you stay in the hobby, depending on what you end up liking and when, you know, like, what you choose, like, what path you choose, you know, like, there's a lot of, like, big artists out there. You guys, you know, name some, like, some Bill Sienkiewicz, like some Jim Lees. If you know, if you get a chance to meet those guys, man, just, like, get something, like, signed, you know, I think it's special. I think that people like Todd, you know, like we just lost, you know, John Romita Sr. Not too long ago. And, like, you know, so some of these guys, like, they're, to me, like, I view some of these, like, you know, artists, like Todd being, like, one of the more recent ones. They're the last of the dying breed, man. For like the OG stuff, for like the 90s stuff, you know, like, they're pretty much like he's like the last end of the line for me. You know what I mean? Like, everything else is just, like, kind of modern stuff. Yeah, you have, like, you know, Bagley too. You could throw him in there. as a legend for some legendary like art stuff. But
Fact.
a lot of these guys aren't going to be around like too long. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these guys, you know. So to me, it's just a chance to meet these guys and like for something that I love, like the hobby. And you know, if it's whether it's some Spider-Man stuff, some other stuff, some Fantastic Four stuff, like just meeting some of these guys and just saying hello, that's cool for me, man. You know, like that's my experience. You know, like that's why I'll go to the con and I'll spend some time over there. Just spend like one day, because same as a whole. Like it's just I have anxiety. Like I don't want to deal with too many people. I already deal with enough people at my job that when I get out, it's just like I don't want to deal with anybody. You know what I mean? I don't want to talk to anyone. Like I just want to like be in my own bubble. You know. But
I think if I did cons, I would do it the way you're describing right now, right? Like
just in and out, man.
In and out. And I should say this just for the record, I'm just not a fun person. So a lot of times that's the reason for it. I'm not a fun person, you know, like that's it.
Like my definition of fun is like, you know, like if I wasn't like here with you guys, like on a normal, like if, you know, like normal routine, pretty much get home, shower, you know what I mean? Like, you know, light a J, you know, chill for a little bit, maybe hit one of these guys up. Hey, what's up? Little chat, whatever. But then, you know, we're on eBay, and sometimes we're on eBay and like, you know, we're on a phone call. Like, yeah, what are you looking for? Like, hey, just like, you know, show a little something. Like, what do you think of that? Like, all right, cool. Like, you know, just it's like a show and tell. And like I said, it's sometimes it's fun because like one of us can be in a whole different realm and show you something and be like, oh shit, that's, you know, take a little note, you know?
Dude, I know you're gonna relate with me on this then, or to some extent. If you're having a busy day, like it's weird to say, but do any of you guys like actually imagine 2 hours into, like let's say it's 8 p.m. you're out, your day's done, and you know that in like 2 or 3 hours you're gonna be in bed or wherever you're comfortable in the evening, and you get to just turn everything off. There's no phone calls, and you're on eBay. Like I look forward to that, you know, like. That's where I'm like, you know, a lot of people are like, oh, my favorite show's coming on or this movie's coming on. No, I'm waiting to get in bed so I can, for 3 hours without talking to anyone else, just fall asleep on eBay.
Yeah. I'll be fading in and out of consciousness looking at stuff.
Dude,
it's
you ever
crazy.
just wake up in the morning and you know the phone's like right there, it's still on, whatever you want.
Yeah, or complete the purchase. I'm like, complete the purchase.
Hey, dude, yeah. This morning I woke up to a notification saying I had bought and paid for something. I forgot that now eBay is automatic payment. Right? I sent an offer. I sleep-buyed. I sent an offer on a PSA 10 Venom. It's only $99 or best offer. It's from 2007 masterpieces. It's not a popular card that people really think about, but there's like 5 different versions of it, and I keep buying each version of it. And it was $99 a best offer. And I actually know how much he paid for it because the same card was sold like a month ago, that one. And he paid $64 plus tax. And I was like, I'm not going to be an asshole and offer 65. So I offered 70.
Good price. You know?
Yeah, you know. And I'm
like, I'll let you lose $5.
Yeah. I figured, I'm like, well, he must want out of it. You know, he just bought it and he just wants out of it, right? And so I woke up this morning to it being mine and paid for. Like it was in my purchase section. I was like, oh shit, I better be careful, man. Shooting offers. But a $70 offer, you know, it's fine if it auto buys. But if you wake up to like a $1,500 charge, you're like, I did that? What the hell?
Yeah. Something like that happened to me the other day, and you know, I hate missing bids. You know, like not that I want to snipe, like I still want to get like a little bid in, but I want to get a bid, like a random little bid, and then get like the max bid. You know, like closer to the end, like you know, like maybe you are sniping.
You bid on items you want prior to.
Yeah, he plays with fire.
Sometimes yes.
I've been trying to tell.
What would you do that for, sir? Like what would you do that for?
For some things, yes. For some things, no. You know, for some, because like you know, like
I want a reminder, you know, that it's gonna come up.
I've had people say that their favorites are maxed out, so they have to bid on items to get the notifications. Yeah.
I'm maxed out. I can't put any more. Like you know, I cleared, and like 2-3 days later, like it's full again. So it's like you know,
it happens. You know. It happens.
But you're waiting, or like I said, this one in particular, I didn't have a max bid in. Right, I was waiting for it. It was for sure like someone selling from the West Coast, it was like 6:30 in the morning here. I was off anyway, so it's just like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I'm sleeping anyway. I'm a vampire. And man, like I fell asleep for like, I don't know, maybe like an hour. You know, I woke up like, you know, like, you know, look for the phone. Yeah, it was over. It's just like fucking going back to bed. Like, fuck, you know.
Yeah.
And you miss out, and you see the end sale. You're like, oh my god, like my max bid was so much higher. Would have been so much higher than that, you know.
Yeah.
But
oh, I have to make a
love it,
correction.
man.
I know, dude. I love it. We love it. I freaking love that. Like you guys, you know, like there's something unsaid. There's something hard to define that I love when I find in common with someone, right? Like there's not too many people I could be like, oh no, I need to get home and go on eBay. You know, it's not, they're not going to understand what I'm talking about. But I do want to make a correction. Elusive, you asked what's the most I would spend on a book for the PC. And I said like 5. There are exceptions to that, of course, because the Ultimate Fallout 4 9.8 Newsstand, I'm into that book like 12,000. And that's in my PC until it's not. But the reason for that is because I bought that as a 9.4 to turn it into a 9.8, and there's all of that equity in it. But in terms of technically, I am into that book 12,000, and it is with me. So technically, I would spend more if it was the right reason, right? If there was all of that upside to it.
But if the upside was maxed out, you're saying 5K is kind of
5, like 5,000 for a book that I've never been able to grade, can't find it, and it's worth 5. I might do that, you know, if it's that book. There can't be 30 or 40 of them out there, then I don't want it. If it's the only one and that's the only way for me to get it, and like it's a thing for me, yeah, I could probably do that.
Yeah, another thing that I don't know if this happened to you guys, but I'll be scrolling sometimes, and you know, you're like an hour and a half into those scrolling, and you submitted like 3 offers on 3 different things, right? And then you scroll and find the one thing that you're like, dude, let me withdraw these offers.
Dude, I've withdrawn offers before.
Yeah, I've done it before, for sure.
I've totally done that.
And then sometimes you can't, and you wake up thinking, hoping like, I hope they declined it. I hope they declined it.
Dude, you ever do that? Like you make an offer, and you're like, like for some reason, if you want it to be declined, I don't know why I still have the compulsion to make it, and I'm happy when it gets declined. Like, oh, I'm glad I didn't buy that.
It's just in case, you know, you gotta feel the water a little bit, you know, you gotta know like where he's at. He might counter, you know, and like he might be closer to your number, but be like, no, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna buy it. Sometimes like, you know, I threw a little bit in the other day, and the guy countered. I'm just like, well, like, you know, like, no, I'm not playing this game. You know, I want it at this price. If you can't do this price, then you know, I'm out. No one else is buying it, so just sell it to me. You know,
dude, I've been trying to tell people. That's what I tried to do last night.
No one else is buying
this card listed for a long time. Offered him $800, and he just said no. He was like, I can't. It's the only one. I don't think there's ever going to be another one. I'm just going to wait.
There's a gentleman that, yeah. Go ahead.
No. When the stream ends, I'm going to tell you guys what the card is, right? Because maybe you guys could help me with this. But what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, I messaged a gentleman the other day, and I'm just like, look, you have this card up, no one's buying it. You have this card that's more valuable than the other card, you know, and no one's buying that, you know. So I'll buy this card at this price, or will you take an offer? He sent me like how much was it? I think it was like a 10% offer. I was like, no. Like this card's more valuable than that card, you know. Like I have a number in my mind, just, you know, accept an offer. Like, well, he didn't want to take it, but you know, at the end of the day, like there's certain things that, like I said, at the moment, like everyone's so busy, like, you know, with this and with that, whatever. Great. I want you to be so busy with this and that, because then that leaves me an opportunity to go find that over there. And right now that I know they're busy, I'm not so worried about it, because no one's buying it. No one's paying attention to it. Everyone's buying like whatever's hot right now, you know. So, yeah, man, you know, like it happens. The guy clearly he didn't accept my offer, but I'll come back to it. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Like the card does come around, and I'll just wait. You know, like the guy doesn't want to sell it. There's gonna be some dude when he keeps sitting on it and sees that it doesn't sell, I'll just be there. You know, I'll be there when I get the price drop. Like, hey, reduction. Like, I'll be there. You know.
Yeah. Oh,
just call my name. I'll be there. You know.
Sergio, tell me if you experienced this. This is that sneaky price. If you've been watching an item for too long, and the price gets reduced, but you don't know it. Like every now and then you'll scroll through your watching and you'll be like, what? That thing's $200 cheaper now? I didn't even know. And sometimes it ends up in your sold section because you don't get a notification for the price reduction and someone else snatches it up. And it's like, dog, if I seen that price reduction, I would have bought that thing.
Yeah.
You know, there was a card. I'm going to show you guys know this card, but I'm going to show you anyway. There's a card that RMS, he purchased on eBay, and then we worked the trade and stuff.
Oh, Carnage Prism.
Yeah, you guys know it, so I don't have to show it. But I would love to if it was within like I found as soon as you said that, that's the third card in the stack. Cool. So I had this card as a PSA 9 before, and at that time it was the only PSA 9. And this card was on eBay for like a price that wouldn't have surprised me if someone paid for it, but I didn't feel like paying for it. So I slept on it, right? It was like, I think it started at like $600 or $700. I don't remember, right? But it was enough for me to be like, I don't want to get mixed up with it at that price, right? And I was watching it. I had no idea that there was a reduction on the price. And when it got a reduction on the price, RMS made an offer, an aggressive one. And homie accepted it. I was like, man, if I knew that there was a reduction and the guy was receptive to those kind of offers, I would have done it. But the fact that RMS do trades together and stuff worked out so well because he had it. And I said, dude, I really want that. And there was something else that I had that he wanted. I don't remember. But I ended up giving him my PSA 9 so that he still has it and cash. And I picked this up and I'm into it. The value that I would have been comfortable paying for it, but I didn't know there was a reduction. So basically I'm into this card, $300, a little over $300 is what I'm into it, right? Then that's taking into consideration what I paid for the 9 that I traded him and the cash that I put on top. Yes. Nice. And I think being into this card for $300, I'm super okay with that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's the only one still, the Pepsi Mexico Prism.
Those are so hard to find.
Those are dope, though. I got the Gambit, but mine's a BGS 9. But there's no 10s.
Yeah. So, there's I want to get your opinion because my opinion is a emotionally attached opinion and my price is probably absurd. What I think it should cost is probably absurd. But there's that Pepsi Mexico Lethal Protector, right? The one that looks just like, the whole flare set, but the Lethal Protector one. And the Pepsi Mexico doesn't say flare on it because the Pepsi Mexico. But anyway, I have the PSA 10 of it, and it's a pop one. It's the only one. What the hell? What is that card? What do you think the card is worth? Like in my mind, I think it's like a $2,000 card, but I'm smoking something, like, so what is that card worth?
Yeah, I'll tell you, because I did a recent trade and I had the Puerto Rico BGS 9.5 of the Maximum Carnage card, also Pepsi.
I remember, the trifecta card.
Yeah. So I did a trade with a Cold Card Life Michael, and I don't know what value we put on it, but I think we pretty much both agreed it was probably like a $400 to $500 card. So that's it's just that's where it's at, man, for cards, especially right now that it's low. Now during the peak, you might have been able to get maybe $600, $700, $800. I don't see it doing more than 800 because it's not one of the prisms. It's just a base. I know it is a foreign, and you're paying more because it's a foreign and they're harder to grade. But that's where I would be at.
That's an avid collector piece though. You know what I mean? Like that's not a beginning collector. Like a beginning collector's not gonna find that. Yeah, you're doing some digging for that piece for sure.
So that's the upside of it, right? You're gonna get what someone's willing to pay for it, like a collector.
And no one knows I have it, so I don't even know if there's like a collector out there that would pay for it because it's not like I have it up for sale. It's not one of the things that's just randomly floating on my eBay. It's just. I posted it on my page like 2.5 years ago, and that's the only time it's been posted on my page. It's one of my early Instagram feed posts 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, no, those cards are dope, man. There's a lot of unique cards like that I kind of like what Sergio touched on right now, which is it's still too early for people to understand those and value those where they should be valued. You might be right, and maybe in a few years it's worth $2,000. Especially if no more coming to the pop. Right, and it remains Maybe one or
Right.
two more get added. But
Right.
at this point, we're just unfortunately still not there.
I'd feel pretty absurd asking that for it though. Like if someone was like, "Hey, I heard you had that Mexico Pepsi Venom. How much you want?" 2,000? You know, I'd probably be like, "I'm negotiable though." You know, like I feel a little weird asking that. I would hope someone would just offer it to me. That would be great.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh gosh.
Like I'll say, like a good thing to give you like a marker with as well is like look at, for example, I've been talking about 95, so it's on my mind.
Mhm.
If we talk about this all the time, but if you buy a 95 mm box, those are probably still doing like 1,500 now. Like if you
The
look at sold,
95. Okay.
maybe 1,200 on the low, but within that range. But point being is going back to those emotions, you're not guaranteed to pull that character that you're looking for.
Right.
So if you have like a Gambit or a Magneto or a high tier and a PSA 9 or excuse me, a PSA 10 or a BGS 95 and it's a pop 1 or 2, in my opinion, I'm with you. That should be worth the price of a box, minimum, right? Because you're not even guaranteed it. But we're just still not there for people to see the value enough to, fork it out. Because they're so stuck on the numbered stuff they still don't understand like the rarity of the condition rarity of the 90 stuff. Like for you to get that at that grade, it's going to be, I don't know. It's been 2 years and maybe one has been added after 2 years.
Do you think we'll get to that point where people start to appreciate where people start to appreciate those cards the way that they get enthusiastic about modern numbered cards?
I think so. I think it's going to have to be with someone that's like us, like what we're doing. More and more people that start sharing their collections and more people start sharing the older stuff as well, not just like the new, right?
Mhm.
The new releases. Then I think it'll start getting more and more respect. And then like anything else, right? Like it just takes people as crazy as we are to start digging and really getting to something that you're like, oh, I really want that. I can't find it. And then when they finally see it, they're not even worried about the price. They just wanted it.
Yeah.
So we got.
Man, I can't wait to tell you the card that I'm not telling you about. After the stream, I'm going to tell you, man. I can't wait. I damn near am just going to pay that person $1,500 tonight after we end the stream. But I'd feel like an idiot if I did that. You guys have to talk to me. I need a pep talk. Yeah, I need some guidance. Yeah,
there's cards out there, same thing, that I'm still waiting for a 10 to come up. But yeah, I mean, that's where I think most 10s are falling within the range of like, depending if it's a base card, a lot of 10s are doing like between 80 and 150 bucks. If it's an insert, maybe 100 to 200 bucks. And then if it's something like both an insert and is just stupid rare, like you never see it, you start entering like the $300, $400, $500 range.
I sold one of those 2017 Fleer Ultra Spider-Man. Remember, I had the shiny, not this card, but the other Venom, the 3-piece one, the shiny one.
Yeah.
I sold that on eBay. I forgot what I got for it, but I was happy. I mean, it's still there because it's a recent sale. I think I ended up selling it for $550. Wait, $450 or $550? Whatever it was, I was happy with it, right? Because I remember we talked about these a little bit. This one you told me that I'm priced high on, and I don't mean I'm not saying that I'm just saying that's what you told me, and it's and you are probably right. I have it at $750 or best offer, and then every time there's like a new watcher, I send an offer for like $575, and no one's bought it. So it is a pop one, but it is the base, and you're probably right. It's probably a $300-ish card, but I'm not going to sell it for $300. So someone else is going to have to make it because it's too damn good looking for me to sell it for $300.
It's a dope card. See, the only thing you got going again, it's like that's what that's a base card, but since it has parallels, that's the bad part, right? Like the other parallels are more enticing. Yeah, the silver foil, rainbow foil,
Dom's masterpieces.
Yeah.
He's got all the 6 parallels of that card. He's got the PSA 10s of them.
Yeah, I try to get it already.
I love him, man. You did? I think there was one that I had slept on. He had bought. I was happy that he bought it. The first 2 sketch cards that ever got into my collection were gifted by him, and I freaking love them. They're both Black Suit Spider-Man sketch cards, and one's an homage to the 1992 Joe Jusko Venom. The orangish background Venom reaching out, and it's Black Suit Spidey doing that on an orange background. They're right over here somewhere. And he gifted me those. And then, one day during the Marvel show, I guess he has 2 different names because he doesn't want to be connected, so I shouldn't air that out. But someone was like, I'm the one that sent you those. And I was like, you are? And I felt so bad because I didn't know that name was that name, you know? But he sent me those, and he's incredible, actually. Yeah, he's got all of those. And it feels right that he has them because he clearly loves them and he hunts them. And when they pop up, he makes them his. Like those belong to him.
Yeah.
I like that.
For sure.
That's cool, man. That's very cool. Let me ask you, Manu. You have I know you like Todd, right? Like that's pretty clear. Like I know I've heard you mention Bagley. What's like a third? Give me like a third, fourth, like runner up, like honorable mention. When it comes to like Spider-Man illustration.
Wow, I just answered this question recently too, and I like completely have forgotten my answer because like I really only think Todd and Bagley. Like when I think about it, I think Todd and Bagley, right? And recently, there are a bunch of artists though that I think are absolutely incredible, but they don't just like enter my vocabulary as part of the list, right? And then when I see one of the covers, I'm like, oh yeah. Like for instance, I think Campbell's incredible, but J. Scott Campbell, but it's selective. I don't like J. Scott Campbell's Spider-Man. I like his Black Cat, you know? And the fact that I love J. Scott Campbell's Black Cat representation so much, I have a soft spot for J. Scott Campbell. We talk about Sienkiewicz. I love Sienkiewicz. I don't like everything Sienkiewicz does, but the things that I love so much, he enters my top list. But no, and you know, even Sam Keith. Sam Keith is incredible to me. The gritty way that he stylizes things, his Venom, his Wolverine, even his Spidey. I love it. But when I think about my favorites, I think about everything from a really personal relationship. It is Todd and Bagley.
Like no Jim Lee, that's crazy, huh?
Well, if I was heavy X-Men rather than heavy Spidey, Jim Lee would have been in that mix. Yeah. He's very much that era. He's very much that set of influences. If you grew up during the time where I was Todd and Bagley, but you were more X-Men, you're Jim Lee all day. You know, Jim Lee is huge for me. But in terms of influence, in terms of what I was surrounded by, it was Bagley and it was Todd. Like, and so everything else gets an honorable mention. But those two created the collector I am. You know? Oh, Charles Vess. Charles Vess is incredible to me, right? So he has to be on that list, but he's incredible to me almost just because of Web of Spider-Man #1. That cover, it's enough for me to put him in my top whatever, right? Because that damn cover. And there's a fold out poster of Black Suit Spidey getting chased down by Hobgoblin. It's painted by Charles Vess, and it's in the middle of I forget, you know, there's the four comic books, the green, red, the blue, and the black one being Amazing Spider-Man 365 that have the hologram in the middle.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one it is. It's the red one. So it's the Web of Spider-Man 90, maybe. I could be completely wrong. Anyone wants to fact check, have at it. Doesn't really matter. But there's the fold out poster in there with Charles Vess did of Black Suit Spidey and Hobgoblin. That piece of artwork is one of the most impressive and meaningful pieces of artwork to me, you know, and the only form that I own it in is inside the comic book, but just knowing I have it makes me happy. And anytime anyone shares the picture, I feel what I feel knowing how much I love that. Right. So Charles Vess is on my list for that reason. Yeah. But nice. Bagley and Todd, man, like is super important to me. Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't throw in like a John Romita.
Okay,
you know, like you didn't throw like the old school Steve Ditko, like
and because I want to be super true to what created me, and not to what I'm starting to appreciate. Like Elusive said this to me, like because that Charles Vess cover, that Web of Spider-Man, when I was young, I thought it looked too mature. And in Elusive, the way he phrased it, I think when I had this conversation with him, he said, you know, your palette evolved, or it was something like that. Like you become more sophisticated in your taste over time. Yeah. And as a kid, if it wasn't Bagley or Todd, I thought it looked too grown up. The Charles Vess thing looked too grown up to me. Now I absolutely love it. And as a young person, the old stuff spoke to me because of its historical significance. Yeah. But the visual of it didn't speak to me. But now I'm starting to appreciate it from a completely different level. Like
Yeah.
Ditko's Spidey is kind of wacky looking. I'm starting to love it for being wacky looking.
Yeah.
I was so in love with McFarlane's Spider-Man silhouette that the Ramita silhouette, even though it's iconic and it's beautiful and it's like very proportionally correct, like, you know, it's symmetrical. Like Ditko wasn't symmetrical. Ramita is like kind of symmetrical, right? If that's the correct word to describe it. I think that word will resonate. Now I look at Ramita's stuff, rest in peace, and it speaks to me in a way it never did, because it's just different. I can't even tell you why, but now I'm looking at Ramita's stuff and I'm like, what a nearly perfect Spider-Man, you know? And Justin, Spidey Hits, he's been a Ramita fan. That's been his Spidey, you know? So, but that hasn't been my experience with it. And when you think about these classic covers, I've always appreciated certain covers, like Amazing Spider-Man 50, the first appearance of Kingpin, that red cover, Spidey, you know, I've always admired and loved it. But now I'm looking at it different, bro. Like now the historical significance of it is setting in. The emotion of a classic Ramita cover is hitting on a completely different level now for all of the reasons. But I'm evolving, and I think part of that evolution is getting me to look at those things differently. Our tastes change, bro. There was a time where I only listened to one sort of music. You know, naturally, and so that's happening for me stylistically now as well. So I'm gonna get into those older ASM titles. I'm books. I'm just not there, and naturally, I am gonna start getting into that world, because there are covers that I look at now and they make me emotional and they didn't before. And that's something I can't explain why, but it is happening. And so I know it's going to call me in that direction. And I'm happy about that. You know, let's go. So,
yeah, that's awesome, man, because you're going to have a new little side mission. You're going to have to do a lot of research on those and figure that market out. And yeah, it's just starting all over, doing what you like to do again. And it's like that new feeling when you hadn't seen it before and it's new to you, even though it's been around. That's awesome.
And a whole new set of challenges, right? Like when I'm dealing with a modern book, I'm barely worried about the stuff that people are dealing with books from the 60s and 70s. And we've talked about it. Now I got to start thinking about restoration. I got to start thinking about staple replacement, things that you do not think about when you're dealing with the book that's 15 years old, you know, 20 years old. You're expecting everything to be normal, even though I have had some unpleasant surprises. I had a Maximum Carnage 9.6 come back a purple label once because of that color touch. And I was like, what the hell? Who the hell color touched this book? and then I did some research. I found out that there was a part of that run that an actual employee color touched, because they're all drawn in the same exact spot. And the story that I told earlier today about a 9.6 that I sold, I mean, a raw that I sold, not the one that 9.8'd, but a raw I sold because I had identified the color touch. After getting my purple label, I looked at all my raw copies. And any copy I had that I was able to identify the color touch, I sold as a color touched raw. I sold this book for like $450 as a high grade with color touch. Gentleman bought it. He recently graded it. He got a blue label 9.6, even though it has color touch. And he sold it on eBay for $1,050. So, you know, it's fine, because it is a little weird, right? Knowing that there's a book out there that has color touch.
Yeah.
Because if that person submits it to a signing, is he going to get screwed later? Is CGC going to catch the color touch then? Probably not. You know, maybe not.
Yeah.
Hopefully he submits it encapsulated as a blue label, doesn't crack it out. And they'll probably won't go over it with a fine-tooth comb, right? But there is definitely a color touch blue label Maximum Carnage out there. I sold it as a raw. I am well aware of the color touch. And if you ever show me a Maximum Carnage, I could identify the color touch in half a second. I know where it is on the color touch copies.
Nice.
That's dope, man.
That's interesting. Interesting that you're going for those like that acclaim, you know, that acclaim book. That's an interesting pick. Yeah, man. That's a good one. It's a good cover.
There's also cards associated with this. Most of us know that, right? Yeah.
They're the little 8-bit, like little 8-bit, and it has like the name on there. Yeah. I saw a sealed one. Like, is it cassette?
No, no. So the sealed pack of those cards is attached to a green jelly Maximum Carnage cassette tape. So it's actually double sealed because the cassette tape is cellophane wrapped, and within that cellophane wrap is a sealed pack of cards. I had the cassette tape sealed. You could buy them for 45, sometimes 85, depends. But now, like RMS is actually starting to grade the 8-bit cards, right? The images from the video game.
Yeah.
And that's got me kind of excited because they're like wacky looking cards, you know? But like I'm gonna want a PSA 10 when it pops up, you know. I'm gonna want it. Yeah. But yeah,
I wonder what the condition are on those. I mean, those promo cards, I feel like you breathe on them wrong, you know, and they're like,
it's
start to curl, you know?
It's gotta be rough.
They gotta be tough, man. They gotta be tough. And the reason I brought up like Super Nintendos is I want the video game.
Oh,
you know?
man. Well, listen, you missed out because probably like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I had a copy in box of that comic, Red Box, Red Carnage. I sold it on eBay.
I haven't been able to get myself to pay the prices they're currently going for.
I think I sold my it wasn't clearly it wasn't a seal copy, but I think I sold it for like $90. Like right before like the Venom movie came out, I threw it on eBay and somebody bought it for like $100.
Just to make myself feel bad, was it complete in box? Like you had the pamphlet, the poster, and all of that? And
yeah, it had everything. Like I bought it at SuperCon here in Florida, and I think what was it? Like I bought like a couple of VHSs and a couple of like, you know, video games, whatever, like random, and I got a good deal on it. I threw it on, you know, like I 3x my money, so I was like, no big deal, you know what I mean? But back then, like, you know, like I just got it into like collecting, and you know, I figured like I put it up there for a little more, and nobody picked, you know, nobody like bought it, but $90 like it sold.
You've seen the envelopes for this book, right? That I collect.
Yeah. I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen you post the envelopes for him. Yeah, it's very cool, man.
Because
you know,
if you said no, I would have geeked out. Yeah, what, dude? Yeah,
Dude, these are dope, right?
First Encounters.
That's amazing. Is that a PSA? Is that what is that? Oh, okay. I thought.
No, that's I got a little potential for a 9. I don't think I got a potential for a 10, but these are the Kool-Aid promos.
Yeah, but that's the one with the symbiote suit Spidey.
The grading on it is dope. The way they did it. The card design is dope on this one. So these are like
crazy.
Speaking of promos, man, I forgot to show you guys the only pickup I did like 3 weeks ago. I forgot to show it to you guys. I got it for $5, but
he forgot. Let's see it. All right.
No, well, because it's not Marvel related, but it is.
Yo, he wouldn't even show you the $5 promo, dog. Damn, you know. Let's see.
Wait, what is that?
Yeah, what is it? Hold on, let me.
Oh, it's the Batmobile.
Like a little Mirage, 1989 Batmobile.
Yeah.
And these were from, I believe, I could be wrong, but I think they're from Kellogg's.
Doom, sell me your Catwoman cards.
Please. I don't have any.
I bought this one.
I saw that. Yeah. Nice.
That's enough. Yeah, that's
dope.
I bought that one.
I showed you the one I had, the Batman animated one, but I sold it a while back.
I bought this from VP.
Oh, nice.
This is that one, boy.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
There's a seller. Sergio, what'd you say?
Did I read it right that she's doing like a signing for CGC, Michelle Pfeiffer?
Yeah. Her and Michael Keaton.
Yeah, you were talking about Jason Scott Camp, or right?
Yeah.
Look at that Gamora.
Dude, I've never seen that. That's incredible. That looks so good. What is that?
So this is the Rittenhouse. I got the little rainbow. I got the diamond, the ruby. So
how come Rittenhouse could get centering right and Upper Deck can't?
Dude, yeah, look at that. All right, this is a little diamond. 1 out of 10. Hey, Manu, give me, slide in my DMs. Don't even worry about it. We'll talk about it. It ain't Black Cat, but it's S tier.
I've expanded my Black Cat collection to Catwoman. They're obviously like very close.
Oh yeah, it's right there. Yeah.
But you know, you guys know I grabbed this what year is it? The 89
Henry Pablo.
Listen, those cards, you know, when you pick them up, you got it at 10.
Yeah, that's why I bought it.
Congrats, dude. Because I mean, you get a 9 and you're like, yeah, you're good. You know, you get a 10, you're like, yeah, that's a that's a unicorn for sure, bro.
I'm a snob, bro. Like I make my life difficult on myself. Like I could just appreciate stuff, but I'm like, no, I need the 10. You know, I paid $1,000 for this card, man.
The problem is
951. I'm into this card.
the problem is that legit sometimes, especially for these older sets, the 9 just doesn't exist. The 10 doesn't exist.
The 10.
You know.
Yeah, like
So
exactly.
if you lock down like a 9, if you lock down a 10, man, like
well, there's a 2015 retro insert of that black hat in a 10 up right now. Anyway, you know that, right?
It is. I saw it, and it's not unreasonable. It's $380,
very
right?
reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah.
To where if you wanted it, send them a little offer. Don't hit them too low.
Are you looking at it right now? Do you know what seller it is?
No, I don't know what seller it is, but yeah, it's $3.99.
There's been many a night that
and there's someone in the hobby
that card again.
And I'm gonna fuck up your day because there's another collector that he doesn't collect Black Cat, but he PC's comic cuts. He has that comic cut of that exact panel for Black Cat.
The comic cuts I was really excited about. I don't know how excited. What? Yo, someone just offered me $500 for a book that I have up for $1,300. I don't even know why I have it allowed for $500 to come in on that.
Yeah.
Do you know which? Sergio, did you guys do that?
No, that he's using the same move you use on you. He's like, all right, let me lowball. It's late night, like sneak it in real quick.
It's the 9.6 maximum cardage, a $500 offer.
Man,
that's a solid offer right there, man.
I turned down $900. I had it listed on Elite, and someone offered $900. I turned it down. Then they offered $1,000, and because of the fees, I said no to $1,000. And I said no. I turned down the $900. They didn't come to $1,000. I was willing to go to $1,000 and still pay the fees, and they weren't willing to come to $1,000. But anyway, it's always fun to get an offer. I don't mind anyone lowballing me. Like, I just think that's the beginning of a conversation. I just think it's funny that we're talking about eBay and talking about maximum carnage, and that thing's there.
Yeah.
Sergio, my bad. You were talking about something just now. I cut you off. You were saying, the comic clipping, right? I like comic clippings, but recently I think I'm having a change of heart on them. Recently, I'm not sure. I like them. It's not a matter of you shouldn't cut comics. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I have comic clippings, and I like them. But something happened. Like I'm wondering why my enthusiasm faded for the comic clippings. Like I'm more interested in cards than I am cards with comic clippings. Maybe it's because I'm a comic and card guy. Like if I want the comic, I'll take the comic. If I want the card, I'll get the card. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Maybe for me, it's not actually a merger of the two worlds because those two worlds are merged for me already. Perhaps that. But the jumbo comic clippings.
It's basically like a page, right?
If they gave you like a Todd splash page, like you're not in it.
If they gave me I mean that's what started the conversation was that amazing image from Amazing Spider-Man 299, the first full cameo appearance of Venom. The last page of 299 was the one that Justin pulled up on screen during a month ago during the show, and everyone was right. The reason I had a passionate reaction was because it was priced at 10,000 or best offer.
Yeah.
If someone had priced it at like 1,000 or best offer, I would have been like, yeah, somebody buy it. If you're having fun, have fun. But when someone prices it, again, people could price it whatever they want. I do stupid prices sometimes too. Like I know the game, but when people are speaking about it as if it's important, and then someone pricing it is making someone talk about it as if it's potentially important, I can't ignore the truth about it. The truth is that's just a page ripped out of a readily available comic book. And then the argument to say, but now it's a licensed product, it's a card product, it's a stretch for me because it's not even a card. I don't care if it's a card company that licensed it. It's still a page ripped out of a comic book. And then the argument's made, but what about the AF-15? The AF-15 is significant even if you have a piece of a page because it's an AF-15. Well, I think it's a book that I can go buy for $10. I don't care if you rip a page out and call it a redemption. It's a book that I can buy for $10.
But that would be the same case with sports, right? When they do the rookie patch autos, like the patches. A patch is just a piece of the jersey. You could go buy the jersey too.
And you're not probably right. You are right. And the reason that's not part of my vocabulary or part of my conversation is because I've never engaged with any artifact sports cards. Like that's not even a world that the only sports cards that I deal with are the ones that I remember collecting when I was in the 90s. You know, like I still think Iverson rookies are the coolest thing in the world. Whether they're worth anything or not, they're sick as hell to me.
Yeah, sick.
You know, and so I'm not deep into sports cards like that. So I never really thought about it. But when that kind of stuff, the gimmicky stuff makes it into Marvel cards, I do have an emotional reaction, you know, protecting what I think the integrity of it is. But then again, I have to remember, who gives a shit what I think? If people like it, well then great. Whatever. And then when Justin pulled the redemption like 3 days later, I was just happy for him. Like, well, there you go. It worked out. You know, I talk all this shit about redemptions. You pull one, there you go. And he pulled a sick page. It's the first page of Amazing Spider-Man 300 where it's Mary Jane crying in the corner and it says Venom in that dope text. That red drippy text is incredible. Like that's a beautiful image. So I'm not mad at it, but I can't ignore the fact that it is just a page out of an ASM 300 and I've had like 100 ASM 300s. You know, that's how I feel about it, right? It's like, wow, okay. But Upper Deck says it's important, so.
When you know, we went through kind of a mission.
Shout out to Justin, shout out to that page. It's amazing. I love you, Justin. Sergio. There you go. Sorry. Yeah.
We went through a little mission to try to pick up that the card that Doom showed. You know, like you know, we went through a little we went through a little mission. And the seller was like, oh, this is like the, you know, grail piece and stuff like that. And I literally said what you said, and it's just like, dude, I have like, you know, I may not have the grail, like the English version, right? But I have other versions, other, you know, international versions that, you know, the image is there. Like it's readily available, you know, like you're basing it off of like, oh, yes, it is a big book. And just like you said, like, hey, owning any piece of AF-15 is a big deal. Just like owning any part of like FF5 is a big deal as well. But it's just not like the make or break. You know what I mean? Like it's only rare because they chose that image for that set, but it's not rare because I can produce that image in other forms. You know what I mean? Like,
correct.
I can give that to you in different versions, and honestly, like the Spain version is probably more rare. You know, it's more rare than
probably
the English version.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
if you want to get technical about it,
I feel the same way. Like I do like some of the comic cuts, but I do agree with what you're saying though. Like if you're gonna make it a comic cut, make it a big book at least. You know, like something that's not, you know, like you said, like a $10 book. Because at that point, it's just like, you know, it's not really worth it. You know, it's not special. It's not special anymore.
You know, and if it was signed by Todd, like that'd be a little different. You know, there is somebody that ripped that page out of their $2.99 and submitted it to the last McFarlane signing. And it is now encapsulated CGC verified, a witness signature signed by Todd. That is the way for me to celebrate that page. I say this all the time. I don't clap. A company producing something is not a stamp of importance. It's not. And, you know, Justin and I had the argument very publicly. He said, well, it's a licensed product. And I was like, Justin, the comic book was already a licensed product. You know, now it's double licensed. You know, it was already a Marvel product. Now it's a Marvel Upper Deck product, right? But then I'm reminded, you know, that there are other elements of a modern collector that don't resonate with me that are very significant to them. I am so aware of the fact that the chase is a big part. It doesn't matter what they put into the cases, into the packs. Folks just love chasing the stuff that's hard to get out of the new product. I don't care, but I have to respect that, right? I don't have to respect it, but I do respect it. I just have to remember, oh, that's a different element. I'm criticizing the thing, but there's a whole element of enjoyment, this gamification that people are having a great time playing. You know, and good for Upper Deck for figuring it out and getting all the money for it. You know, whatever. But yeah, the jumbo comic clippings, I can't pretend they're important, but I am happy for anyone that appreciates them and loves them. The AF-15 comic clippings, those are the shit.
Yeah.
Like I fuck with those, you know, because I personally, you talk about something that I always get outbid on, and I actually do get kind of upset, is pages of AF-15. There are 3 pages out of that book that I really want, just the pages, because I'm not buying AF-15s at this point. I never had an AF-15 or even a piece of it. The closest I've gotten is 1 page out of an Amazing Spider-Man #1, and I loved having it. Beautiful page, the letter page, page 12, and then I sold it. I enjoyed it, then I sold it. AF-15, I always bid on these pages when they pop up, and I always get beat. And now every single auction is selling for more than the last. So I'm either going to have to, you know, grow a pair and bid like I mean it.
Say it with your chest.
Yeah, I gotta say with my chest, man.
Or
But
let it go,
that-
you know? Yeah.
Or let it go. But AF-15 comic cuts, they're significant.
Let me ask you something real quick on the Newsstand and Mark Jeweler thing. If there is, there might not be, but is there something that you would agree upon as far as a multiplier from a 9.8 Newsstand to a 9.8 Mark Jeweler?
4 at least.
4 at least. Okay.
At least, at the very least. If you're dealing with any book that is significant or desirable for any reason, 4x is the minimum. And if a seller doesn't have the confidence to ask that, it's because they don't have the confidence to find the buyer. Trust me, the buyers are out there.
Okay.
I bought that 316 for $2,500. I have offers over $6,000 on that. Everyone realized that that was a steal. The seller didn't.
Yeah.
The seller didn't have the confidence to price it absurdly. If you've got a desirable book and you get a 9.8 white page Mark Jewelers, have faith that there are people that are willing to pay what you think you shouldn't ask. They don't exist like that.
Yeah.
ASM 316 is a $1,000 9.8 newsstand. I paid 2.5 times. I paid $2,500. I can sell it for 5x. The 311. This is a current market. This used to be a more expensive newsstand 9.8. Current market, this is a $500 to $600 9.8 in a newsstand, right? I wouldn't sell this for less than a 4x multiplier on that.
So it's okay.
This book here, the 315, if you buy a poorly wrapped one, if you buy a poorly wrapped one, a lot of times the back cover shows, you can probably get a 9.8 newsstand for $500 to $600. Right? And if someone just wants to give it away, maybe $450, which would be absurd to do. I sold the last 9.8 newsstand that I sold for $800. And the way that I sold it, there were 32 9.8s of this book on eBay. It was some absurd number like that. I'll watch the video later. I made a video, I don't remember. Let's just say it was 20. I don't remember the number. So I made a video, a screen recording of me scrolling eBay, right? And then I put that video in my story. And I said, you see all those 315 newsstands? 315 9.8s? Those are all direct. There isn't a single 9.8 newsstand. I've got one, and if you want it, it's $800. That was my sales pitch. It sold. So me paying $2,000 almost for this is below what I believe the multiplier value is of this book. Paying $2,000 is a 4x on 500. To me, the 9.8 newsstand is an $800 book because I've sold it for that. And it wasn't that long ago. And so I believe this to be $2,500 to $3,500 in value. So for the desirable books, it's 4x at least. For undesirable books, it don't really, maybe double. Like if a book if no one cares, no one cares, You
know what I wonder? I have the X-Men, the 350 cover that's a 9.8 newsstand. I've never seen even a raw Mark Jewelers, low grade, mid grade, any grade of that. I don't even know if it exists, by the way.
Dude, I heard X-Men Mark Jewelers are super tough. That's what I've heard. I don't play in that category, but I heard it's super tough. And the gentleman that listed this book, even though this book was on my comic shop, like it was a consignment listing, he put up about 7 9.8 white page Mark Jewelers. You knew it was all from the same person. They all got listed the same day through my comic shop. And he's got 3 or 4 X-Men ones up there, and he's asking $3,000 to $5,000 for each of them. I don't think he's out. I'm talking about books that are only $400 9.8 newsstands. He's asking $3,000, but that's because no one's ever seen them.
Yeah.
He's also got an Amazing Spider-Man 301 up there, which is the red and blue cover You guys know 301, right? Yeah, I don't know. But he's got one of those up there, $20,500. But let me tell you about the book. Direct edition 9.8 of that book. What direct edition 9.8 of a 301 sells for $2,000. A direct 9.8. The newsstands are between 4,000 and 5,000. So he put a 4x on the perceived value of a newsstand, 5x maybe, and he's asking $20,500. Now, personally, I don't think he's anticipating getting paid that, but that book is at the very least a $10,000 book. At the very, very, very least, because that's an incredibly difficult grade in direct or newsstand. So for it to be a Mark Jewelers 9.8 white page, that's crazy. Dude, the New Mutants 98 Mark Jewelers sold for $16,000 on Grails. That's a $3,000 9.8. Oh, was that one signed by Stan? That might have been signed by Stan, which is a different situation.
Yeah.
But still,
yeah.
you know, I'm not saying people are no one's sleeping on Mark Jewelers. People just are not confident in pricing them sometimes. And I'll buy them when someone's not confident, right? Because I'm having private communications with different sorts of collectors that are not on eBay, and all they want are 9.8 Mark Jewelers. You know, I got a friend right now that's completing the 29 book run of the is it 29 Todd McFarlane ASM books? I think so. Maybe it's 28. I don't remember. But he's completing the run. He'll pay, you know. Just because you know he's after it doesn't mean you abuse the relationship. I love him. He's been buying books for me. He's been a friend of mine for 3 years now. I would never disrespect the relationship. But the opportunity to buy a book for $2,000 and sell it for $3,500 because he's so busy and he knows that that's what it's worth and he's happy with that price, that opportunity exists. Just people don't know those buyers are out there because the books don't even pop up that often to know what they're supposed to sell for.
Yeah.
You know?
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's the fun part, right? It sounds like a lot of what we do in general is like we look at collectibles and we're like drawn to like the top, and I don't mean value wise. I'm just talking about rarity wise. Yeah. We're naturally drawn to like the top 5 to 1% of the collectible space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let me ask you, because I mean you pick up newsstands, you know, you pick up 9.8s. What about and you know, like Canadian variants, which is, you know, I guess it's like a foreign, but something like that. Do you pick up like Canadian variants, like since it's only like 2% of like total print run, like in 9.8s and stuff like that, or no?
I am a believer. I believe in their values. I believe in their scarcity. I do have Canadian price variants. I have one on my eBay right now, but there's cheaper books. You know, they're not, the big ones are so rare in the 9.8s that I just haven't had the pleasure of finding them. Like Amazing Spider-Man 252, the first appearance of Black Suit, right? I love that book. I just sold a 9.8 newsstand for $1,800, which is $400 less than recent comps. I just felt like doing it. But the other reason I could do that is I graded that book. I was into that book, the cost of the book, and I bought it well because of, you know, we're hunting, and it was just pressing and grading. So I did fine selling it for $1,800, and the buyer is very happy. In fact, the buyer is the same person that bought the $800 315, just coincidentally speaking about that, you know, months apart. She's an amazing person. So if she's listening, thank you very much. I really appreciate the relationship. But that 252 has a Canadian price variant. Bro, I want it. I just haven't been able to find a decent grade condition in it, gradable condition that I would want to grade for a decent price because it's scarce as shit. That book also has a Mark Jewelers, the 252. And most recently, the first Mark Jewelers copy of that book did enter into my collection. I actually have a secret on how to spot that book now. I have a Mark Jewelers secret that nobody actually knows. Like, no one actually knows. And I don't mean looking at the top of the book. I have an identifier without ever seeing the inside or the top of the book. But right now, just the cover. And I've just the cover. But I can only
crypto.
verify.
Hold on.
I can only verify the effectiveness of it for 3 books. I've tested it on 3 books, and it works now every time because I've refined it. I know what it is. I know how to identify an ASM 316 100% of the time. You don't have to show me shit but the cover, and I'll pick your Mark Jewelers. I now know how to identify the 252, and most recently I realized how to identify an ASM 317. So those are the 3 that I could identify. In any case, I don't even remember why I brought that up. Oh, because 252 has a Mark Jewelers and it has a Canadian price variant. Both of them I think are outstanding. Both I have not been able. Well, the Mark Jewelers was my first time ever having a raw, and I sold it, right? Because when I got it, I was super excited, but then I was like, this is not a grade that I would be proud of grading. So let me just make a couple of bucks and move it on to somebody. And that's all I did with it. But that's because that was my first taste. Me having that book, I was like, oh yeah, I'll do this again, and I'll get that damn 9.8 eventually, so someone else can buy this. And that's how I engage with these books. I just keep like, you get that sense of, oh, I can find one of these, so let's sell this one and keep that search going. Dude, I'm in a 9.8 to 252 Mark Jewelers, but the Canadian price variant is obviously much less hard than at Mark Jewelers, but damn, they don't pop up, bro. I don't see high grade Canadian price variants of 252s. There might actually be some on eBay, but they're probably just priced at a place where I'm not a buyer of them.
Sergio's been holding a 9.8 Canadian variant for me, but
of a
it's when you don't want to let it go. It's crazy.
You know what's in? You said
I have one piece.
You said like it's a foreign book, but like people don't think about them as foreign books. They think about them as Canadian price variants. It's like its own category. You have foreign, you have everything, the newsstands and whatever, and then you have the CPVs. It's like its own category.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it like that, I don't think of it like an Italian cover or anything.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'll give you an example. Like Elusive taught me a lot of stuff about cards. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when I picked up this book, like I felt so confident about the purchase because I'm just like it was like a legit like almost like gut instinct. I'm like, just makes sense. Like 2% print run, right? Pop 3. It's not like the biggest book, but it's a good image of Dr. Doom, and it's one of my favorite covers. I have a couple copies. I have a couple. I have a couple international copies. A couple that recently just got signed by John Beatty, which I'm waiting for to get my books back from CGC. Mm-hmm. And I had that the Canadian price variant, man, and obviously I 100% thought about cracking it and sending it in and getting it like yellow say Canadian variant, like probably pop 1, right? But dude, I was scared. I was scared to crack it. I was scared to crack it because it's already a pop 3. Like I don't crack slabs and stuff like that. So
I hear you. I would take a CPV over a newsstand of any book any day. Like grade for grade. If I had an option, the CPV is the way to go every single time. It's just special. Yeah. I have a few. I just don't have any of the big ones.
The guy, and as a price comparison, because you threw a number out there. This is probably like a year ago I bought it. The 9.8 direct was going for like 200. Mm-hmm. And I picked up the Canadian for 5. And I felt like pretty. I feel like
it's a 9.8.
It's a 9.8 Canadian, pop 3.
Bro, yeah, you did. Yes. Why would I feel like that's a deal, to be completely honest. I mean, look, you paid more than 2 times, right? But that's appropriate as shit for that book, because the newsstand should be 2 times the price. You bought the CPV for like 2.5 times the price. That makes a lot of sense, Yeah. And actually, that's the proper hierarchy, I think, right? Direct edition, newsstand, CPV, Mark Jewelers. Just be not that Mark Jewelers is more important than CPV. It is just more difficult to get in the high grade. It's just a matter of fact, right? So I think that would be the balance. Yeah, I love that you grabbed that. I didn't realize that you were actually talking about a 9.8. I thought Elusive just said that jokingly, but you were. So that's dope.
When I bought the book, Elusive was like, "What?" Like he didn't. He was like Y 500 or whatever. I'm like, dude, like pop 3, like Canadian. It's a newsstand Canadian, like 2% print run. Like it just makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I took that information straight out of his page. You know, I went for the low pop.
Yeah.
You know, usually I tell Elusive like with some bigger books, I'm like, dude, it's hard because like some of these bigger books are just highly graded. You know,
Yeah.
so like he doesn't want to buy into something that has a huge pop, but it's like, dude, it's too late. Like there's hundreds of thousands of these books, like, you know, put in the system on census. Like that's just what it is.
And then
For some of the
later
bigger
on,
books.
he just tried to buy it from you. You know, he didn't
Yeah,
understand it at first. Yeah.
and then he tried to buy it from
Typical
me, and I told him
Elusive,
it's just part of the PC.
That's crazy.
Is that really what
Wow.
happened? That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
now he's tired that he
Uh,
can't get it. You know, just lock it down, Sergio. Don't even.
It was locked down when I bought it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
it was already locked down when I bought it.
Don't worry about it. I'll
Uh,
get another one sent.
Yeah, man. I
This is
rock with
stupid.
CPVs. They're just cool. You know what I've never been able to do? I've never 9.9 the book. I've never been able to get a 9.9 on anything, right? And obviously I have an ambition of having a 9.9 newsstand. Like obviously that's really difficult to do, man. You know, and like
Is it difficult to do because it's maybe possibly, you know, I don't want to throw like conspiracies out there, maybe gate kept because it's such like it's like, dude, it's a newsstand 9.9. Like what? Like, or
you're
is it?
you're not wrong, bro.
I mean, you know,
Because
like being realistic.
if you think about books that have thousands of 9.8s, right? Direct and newsstand combined, right? But they don't have any 9.9s on the census. Like, come on,
Yeah,
man.
it's kind of weird.
Come on.
Do they
You know?
exist?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They're scarce. Now I want to say something. I want to be very clear. These new books, these plastic covers, these square bound, perfectly made books, those 9.9s mean shit. All right.
Yeah.
You could submit 20 of those and get 3 9.9s. That means nothing.
Yeah.
You could get 10s in those things. We're talking, you know, early 90s and beyond.
Yeah.
The real the things. And it's interesting because for most books, the census is not broken apart, newsstand or direct. So like when you look at Spawn #1, the newsstand and direct's not broken apart. But you look at Spawn #9, the newsstand and direct is broken apart. The reason is because it's actually manufactured different. Some Spawn issues have recycled newspaper print interior pages, so it's manufactured different, so it's a different item, and it's actually a different census. Spawn 1, they're all made the same, apparently, and there are a bunch of 9.9s, but we have no idea if any of those are newsstands. Spawn #1, I'm over the 9.8 newsstand. It's a valuable book. I love it. You know, it's between $700 and $1,000 on any given day, right? I sold one for $1,650 back in 2021. You know, I love that book, and I'll buy high grade Spawn 1 raws all day, every day, because it's always going to sell for over $600. Well, you know, until it doesn't anymore. But like I'm over that one. You know, the 9.8 newsstand is super attainable. The 9.8 direct is crazy attainable. I think there's 30,000 9.8s. Who knows the number? It's just absurd. I don't know what it is. But out of those 20 or 30 9.9s on the census, maybe there's 18, but let's just say 20. I don't know if any of those are newsstands. Bro, a 9.9 newsstand of a Spawn 1? Like, that's the Spawn grail for me now. It used to be the Malibu Sun 13 9.8. Doom Card, are you familiar with the Malibu Sun 13? Do you know the book?
The blue one that you showed,
Yeah, it's the same cover of Spawn 1, just not digitized yet, with a different logo for Spawn. It's super dope. And there's an error edition. So the two Spawn books that I'm not going to rest until I do is a 9.8 error edition, of which one just sold for like $25,000 privately. And it did sell for $23,000 in 2021 on Heritage. Like, that's a recorded sale. That one that sold for there's only one blue label 9.8, two yellow label 9.8s. The yellow label 9.8 sold on Heritage September of 2021 for $23,000. It's available for a minimum offer of $32,000. You can offer the guy. And then one guy that had the other yellow label in Southern California, he just had one privately for $25,000 or best offer, cash only, local pickup only. And it's sold now. I don't know what it sold for, but I'm assuming it sold for over 20 because it is worth over 20. I just 9.6'd one and I sold it for a lot. I had it for $6,500 or best offer and I got close to that. Right. and that book had a hell of a journey. But I want to 9.8 one of those because I'm not going to pay $20,000 for it.
Yeah.
I want to 9.8 an error, and somehow I want to 9.9 a Newsstand to Spawn 1. Like those are the two Spawn books. I'd be like, bro.
Hey, you know, I will say this since our last conversation. I had a recent conversation. Shout out, you know who you are, but just in case you didn't want me to talk about it, I'm not gonna name this person. But you know how we were talking about the Ultimate Fallout 4 Newsstand 9.8 that you
Yes.
that awesome. I just found one of the other 5 owners.
Wait, who?
Like, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'll ask if he's cool with it. I'll tell you off air. But I was just talking to him. I was trying to work a trade for some cards, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, I own that. You know, I heard that episode with Manu, and I own that too in a 9.8."
Wait, hold on a second. hold on. There's a whole bunch of shit happening. Hold on. Wait a second. Somebody I don't know?
I mean, I don't know. You know, I mean, you're smart as hell.
I don't know anyone. I don't know anyone.
Trying to angle me already.
No, I don't know anyone that's in the card world that's an owner of the 9.8, and I know all the cert numbers of the 9.8s.
Oh, come on, Manu. I know a little something too. You know.
Bro, that's amazing. Hey, I can't wait. That's amazing. When this stream ends, I got a piece of information to share with you, and I want to know what you're talking about. Who's the 9.8 owner in the card world?
Yeah, man. So, but yeah, I just thought I know you like that. So it just recently happened. I was like, oh, that's awesome. That's hella rare, you know, 1 out of 5. That's crazy.
What's he talking about with that? Is he trying to sell it?
Like, when those hands started,
bro, you don't. That's not something you hear every day.
No, I know. I mean, we'll talk about it. I'm telling you. I don't know. Again, I might be over tripping, and he probably is not going to care. But just in case, I'll tell you off air.
No, I like the careful. I like the carefulness, man. Yeah. Well. Yeah, dude, book. This is so much better than just buying something that just came out. Like, come on, man.
We all talk about it all the time. By the way, like, how come we naturally lean towards older things, but just that's I think why we all don't resonate with, other than the experience of unboxing your first MM box, obviously. Like, we don't get the experience of all the new stuff. Why? When there's so much other shit that. You know how hard it is to get, and it's coming out right now. It's like, they're playing peekaboo. These are things, ghost, like you said, ghost books, right? Like in the card world, there's cards that only come out when a new product is out, and they want to lock down some of the new stuff. Then they're willing to let go of some of these big pieces. Those are the pieces you should be grabbing.
Yeah.
But you're falling for this fucking mirage over here.
Pun intended.
Yeah, pun intended. Correct. Yeah, man, I don't get it.
I mean, I do enough shit talking. Let me just say hello in a polite way to everyone in the world opening masterpieces. And at the 3-hour mark of this video, let me say hello to everyone. Enjoy. Listen, I wanted to, dude. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, and someone's gonna call me a hypocrite for this, but I never said I don't want the new masterpieces set. I've always said I would love that set. I would open the boxes at sub 500 a box. Mm-hmm. I don't want to pay these prices for it, and I don't want to be caught up in the hoopla. I don't want to feel stressed out about anything. And but after I sold that 252 the other day, I sold it for $1,800, and I was on eBay that night. And the card boxes are $900. I was like, I could just buy 2 of these with the sale from this 252, and my actual cost would only be $400 because that's how much I was into the 252. And then I still didn't. I was like, nope. But now it's $1,800. So fuck actual cost. It's actually $1,800 now, and I'm not just gonna trade it off for 2 boxes of this. But if and when those boxes, I don't think they will. I think those are always going to be like a $700 to $900 box. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably won't open it. Who knows? I would enjoy opening it though, right? But I do want to. I don't even know if I care about buying any of those cards. I probably will buy 1 or 2 of them, but I don't know which one I would, and I don't know, what it would be that would get me to do it. Which fucking card would I even buy? Like the canvas Spidey,
the red canvas, probably. Yeah, that would be a nice one.
The red would be the one, right? Because it would be the affordable one.
Yep.
And it wouldn't have the square on it that the non-gallery one has. Is that the highest numbered gallery? 149.
Yeah, 149.
That'd be the one. You
And
know,
those
if I
used to
find the right
be
opportunity.
those used to be a lot more rare, right? The red canvas were what at a lower
And
numbered.
yeah,
previous
the red
sets?
the red used to be out of 99, and then the biggest ones were out of 25, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to that point too, Manu, on that, don't sleep on it. If you want a red, take a 9, bro. You're probably not gonna get a 10 on those canvases. Not only for the center.
No, I'm just talking raw on that. To be honest with you,
okay,
as long as I like it visually, I'll take that card raw.
Yeah.
That. No, I appreciate you saying that, but no, I wouldn't hold my breath for 10. And if a 10 did pop up, I wouldn't want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Wink.
Straight up.
Hey, well, hey, shout out to Miles. I don't shout out Miles too much. I will say this, Miles. It's funny because you just posted the same move. I was talking to him, and he shows me an image of the Red Spectrum Neymar, right? Someone pulled it or whatever.
Oh, when you guys are saying Miles, you're talking about Subby,
right?
Subby.
Gotcha.
So I was like, oh, Subby, you're gonna go for it? He's like, nah, man, I'm not gonna be willing to pay the price. Next thing you know, it's in his fucking Instagram.
Oh, he buys cards, man.
Yeah.
He buys cards. I talk about not paying prices. I pay prices for stuff too, you know, but I don't want to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. We all want
Ideally, I don't know. But that was dope watching Neo pull the the one is the alpha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alpha.
Yeah. Because that's one hell of a hit.
It's a big card.
That's a big card.
I feel like he's gonna get that. I said he was gonna get $3,000 for it. And one of y'all laughed at me. He gonna get like $3,000 for that.
No, he's gonna get some good money.
Yeah, maybe even more. I don't fucking know. I think he said the last one on that video. I was only going off the video. He said the last one sold for $2,500, but he's got the alpha. That's the thing.
You get a little juice. You get a little extra juice for that, for sure.
Yep.
Yo, I saw one of the cards. I don't remember which one it was, but it was out of 99. It was on eBay, and I saw the 99 of 99 sell, and I was like, damn, that would have been a dope ass card. 99 out of 99. Fuck.
Okay.
I don't remember which card it was, and I'm pretty sure it sold for a lot, and I wouldn't have paid for it. So, you know what I did bid on, or was I bidding on it? No, I was watching it, and I was like, if it went too high too fast. The out of 10 Kith X-Men team card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one just felt. I was like, whoa, you know. But I think it went for like, what did shit sell for? 4,000, 3,000, 5,000? I don't fucking.
We don't really want to help hype up that set too much, but yeah, it's a dope set. I'm still looking for a Wolverine.
No, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one's collecting
about it. We saw
no one's collected. Elusive Fake said he was gonna get the card, but it's all
Let's talk
BS.
about it. Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Oh wait, which card? I remember some conversation about this. They were giving you a hard time. You slept on
the
something.
As is tradition, you know what I mean?
He's not a real buyer of it. He would have got it by now.
No, I wouldn't have, man. You already know which was. You out of all people know.
Shout out to Scandell, you know.
Oh wow,
he's over there really buying the stuff. He really believes.
Oh yeah, but Scandell already completed the whole thing. I saw a picture he posted. He's got them all though, right? Scandell's got every single one.
Yeah, he went
in the greens. Yeah, I believe so.
He has multiples.
Yeah. That's what I remember. I saw a picture and it was like he had like 10 of them, and it was literally only 7 cards.
He feels about Jim Lee the same way you do about McFarlane, you know. And he's always collected that 92 Imperium with the Jim Lee autos.
Oh, so this kit stuff is perfect.
Yeah, that's his bread and butter. You know what I mean? You might as well put Scandell on the label next to Kith.
Yeah.
He's like masterpiece who, you know, like he's all in on the Jim Lee stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I ain't mad at him. He did it too. I hope I put a heart on that. I feel bad if I saw the post and didn't heart it. I probably hearted it.
But basically, like the refresher is, you know, Elusive likes to bust balls, you know, like that's his thing.
Yeah.
So, and if you lose a bid, he's gonna crack on you, right? Like that's just like what it is. It's the homie, you know.
Yeah.
So he supposedly he threw a bid in, but I guess he didn't throw a bid in. Like
No, Continue. That's false.
He
But I'm
he
saying
did. I mean, he threw one in, but it wasn't like a real one. You know what I mean?
it
Yeah,
was like
yeah,
a feeler. It was like a Manu offer. You know what I mean?
But it's a bid. I don't even understand why you guys are bidding. Like, what are you bidding for? Like,
No.
let's
They're
let
saying
everyone
that
know that I'm here fighting
it's
for
a
it too.
no. It's a buy it now OBO. It was in the auction. He
Oh,
that's
I
what he
got
failed
you.
to
I
mention.
got you.
Yeah, it's a buy it now
Oh,
OBO.
okay.
well, listen, it came with the pair of shoes, right? Which means he could have flipped those.
Yep.
So he probably could have been in it for, what was it, like a, oh no, it was an OBO. No, wasn't it an OBO, or was it a
Yeah,
thousand?
it was best off.
It was an OBO.
2K OBO.
I want to know what
Yeah.
that green. So which one was it? What was the card? I'm gonna
The
check what that
Wolverine
green.
gold out of 25. The one under the green.
Oh, the gold. How much
The
did it
gold.
go for? What did you miss
1,000.
it for?
1,000.
That's it?
Yeah. But I'm not balling like you too.
Oh,
so
no,
can
no,
I
no,
say
no,
that?
no. Actually, hold on. No. I got excited, but let me hold on. Out of 25,
Out
Yeah.
of 25.
1,000.
1,000.
No, that's not a that's it.
With the shoes,
LaRue's?
Which shoes was it though? Because the Wolf. Oh, it's not the team card, so it's the basic Wolverines. You would have got what size?
Basic? Watch your mouth. What are you talking about?
What
This
size were the
basic.
shoes?
Super basic.
I don't remember the size of this shoe.
So what would you would have got 300 for the shoes?
I don't know if I would have got 300. I'm assuming like I was thinking I'd get like 150 for the
Just
shoes.
take a look at this.
Oh damn, rub it in.
See
Yeah, we had to pull it up.
Oh, they love this shit.
what I'm saying? I don't know. Like,
That's a
shout
nice
out
card.
to the people who bought that. You know,
However, that's a good photo. Someone's taking good photos.
Yeah,
over there.
someone took a lovely photo of it. For sure.
I think 1,000 is like a good. I don't think that was a steal. For some
I
reason
don't
when
think
you
so,
said out
yeah.
of 25, I thought I was computing it with like the out of 10s, but no,
And some, mind you,
different.
some have gone under 8. There was a couple comps at 800, and
They
someone got a steal for 315. Buy it now,
Yeah.
and they scooped
Oh, yeah.
That's
Because there
a
was
good
a
one.
lot of non-card people that ended up with
Yes.
dope cards because they were just
100%.
buying the shoes.
it. And they're
This
like,
is
"Wait,
the
you're
one
gonna
I
pay
was
for my
talking about.
shoes?"
Sorry.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
No, it's no. I just wanted to verify the price that this sold for. It sold for 2,627.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
2,627, and I think I was thinking like, ooh, I'd be happy at 1,500 or something like
Yeah.
that. You know, that's
Yeah.
probably the way
that's
I was
reasonable.
thinking. Yeah, but
Oh,
that's just a gorgeous card.
Didn't they say that they're coming out with the Spider-Man set, something like that?
Are you kidding
Like
me?
saying,
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what they're speculating. I don't know how.
the speculation is?
Yeah, that's what the rumor is.
Imagine, your boy McFarlane needs to do something like the thing with Kith. They need to partner up with someone
Make
Listen,
the phone call, you know?
Make a
McFarlane is a
phone call.
marketing monster.
Oh, is he though?
And-
He needs to make some of these cards.
You see what he doing with Whatnot now? He got the Whatnot bug now.
Oh,
That
okay.
boy's gonna be on Whatnot every week.
Yeah, Lucy, watch him out, dog. You know
My
what I'm saying?
bad.
But if they do a Spider-Man thing with cards and I like the cards they run with, yeah, I'm gonna be a sucker for that. You're gonna see me gambling on that.
They better not redo that that Venom we were just talking about. They better not put that image in any more cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, done. Retired it.
Retire that. You know?
That's
Oh, you
it.
know that's coming. Like that's
Imagine.
That image is dope though, man. That image is one of the greatest images. So
And honestly, obviously you already know you like it, but the
I
reason
got a
I like it-
Mirage. Look,
That's sick.
Emotion.
The motion.
that's the
one?
promo one too. It's like came with some magazine.
That's crazy.
Nice.
But going back to that Todd one, man, you own the 9.8 of the 1 out of 1,000 variant, which was the color variant. I have the 1 out of 2,000, which is the sketch variant. The reason I love that card is it marries both worlds really well of both variants.
You make a good point.
Right?
You make a good point. Yes. You do.
I'm
make
no
a good
salesman.
point,
I'm just saying, like.
Oh yeah, you're no salesman. Hey, listen,
You know what
we get
I mean?
along for a reason, all right? We know what's happening. But no, you make a really good point. Mm-hmm.
Because there was a lot of things I didn't like about that full color one, and even though I got the sketch one, it's still missing a little something.
That was like one of our first conversations, you know. I was like, no, I like the color one better. You're like, no, I like the sketch one better. I'm like, fine, whatever, you know.
Well, we agree in the middle. All right.
Yeah, we agree in the middle. And it's right. You had that one in your collection, which is where it's good. You know?
Yeah.
I sold
like
mine
that.
though.
I like that. Straight shots, huh?
You know, sometimes sometimes I just have to have it once. That's all I need. Like, I love something, I've seen it, and I just have to have it. And then once I sell it, I'm good. You know, I'm still gonna appreciate it the same before I had it, after I have it. But like physically, I just need to be able to have it once at least, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's just a box that I want to check, you know. And but I love that book. And my whole reason for saying that about the black and white cover is just it's just a general thing. Like, yeah, I've talked to you about this. Like, I never really got big on black and white covers, you know. And that's all that's it. I've never really engaged too much with it. Something about the color covers.
You know why? I see them as because to me, whenever I came from the cards to the comics, I see it as a comic version of the preliminary arts.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm gonna throw you a black and white cover, and you ask me like yay or nay on a Spider-Man cover.
All right.
All
right.
John Byrne, black and white, black suit Spider-Man, where he's like falling.
I do not. That no, that's amazing. I do not. Oh, sorry. Carry on. I think I know what you're talking about. Go on.
That's the one, because that should be the only image that comes to mind, where he's like falling, like he's like you know, falling down like backwards.
The negative space cover. That is one of the greatest covers of all. I do not consider that a black and white cover. The way that what I'm talking about when I'm saying, I mean like what people call, you know, sketch covers. They do the sketch cover variant. It's the black and white.
I got you.
That cover that you're talking about, Sergio, that is one of the greatest Spider-Man covers of all time.
100%.
I freaking love that book, and I do not own that book, and I love that book. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one thing, you know, not knowing too much from the comic world, but that example of that McFarlane Venom, I know that's just a panel or a panel in the comics, right? They need to do a lot more of that.
300, I think.
Yeah, there's a lot more panels that would be dope as covers that they haven't done.
Oh, yes, dude.
And let's be honest, with this new era that no one, you know, most collectors are buying slab, they're never going to get to see those panels.
Yeah.
You know? So
you're absolutely, dude, they're literally, I mean, I'm a collector and I used to read in the 90s. There are images that come out on cards and I don't know which comic book they've come out of. And I'm loving the images. I'm like, wait. And then I have to be reminded, you know. I was just doing a show with Rohan and JP, and JP's a big McFarlane guy, but he hasn't really, you know, he was like, he didn't know where the McFarlane Black Cat was from. I was like, 316. This is in issue number 316. And then he pulled out his 316 and we flipped through it. We had a great time. Dude, that was such a fun recording with JP and Rohan. We just
shout out to them
for hella long.
Shout out to
man. Shout out JP and Rohan, absolute game of nerds. There's one black and white Spider-Man cover that has some color in it, but it comes to mind when we're talking about it. And I forget the issue number. It's a spectacular Spider-Man cover. So I'm just looking it up real quick. I would like to show you, if you guys haven't seen it, I just want to let you know that this is one of my favorite covers of all time. I don't have it. How do you spell spectacular? Spectacular Spider-Man. There we go. And since I don't know the issue name, I'm just going to write Lizard. And then it's a Milgram cover. So I'll write Milgram. And there it is right there. So if you want to pull this up, it has color. It's not a black and white. But speaking of negative space, if you could pull up Spectacular Spider-Man 127, you guys are probably familiar with it. But if not, I'd love to get your reaction on this book.
Okay.
Spectacular
127. Oh, I love this book so much.
Yeah, the Black Cat was done really well too.
So this one right here?
Yeah, that is so sick to me.
Yeah.
Because it's using the negative space with Spider-Man, and then look at Retro just pop it. It's one of them covers, bro.
This is awesome.
Yeah, it's have Lizard just walked in and like pitch black.
Wait, why does that have an art box on it? That book doesn't actually have that art box down there. This is some mock-up.
This
the
right
newsstand, the newsstand has a barcode, but the direct edition does not have that art box. That's actually detracting from it for me.
The one other one on the left, next to the newsstand one that you're about to click on. Left?
This one?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And it's something about like when you talk about like comics, like the black and white, right? Like the color Lizard, and then that yellow trade dress, like bold trade dress. Like, man, that's so pretty, you know?
This is such a pretty book,
that's
man.
why I can't get along with like some of the newer stuff. Like I do appreciate it, obviously, and I will pick up like some things here at a con here and there. But it's just like, man, I'll never not like a proper trade dress like that. You know, like that's it's too clean.
Simple.
Yeah. Oh, and the corner box. I never paid attention. The actual like price corner box. I forget what those are called. It's half Symbiote, half Peter. That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love this book. Another one that I don't own. Al Milgrom has some dope books. You know, he's also the artist of Amazing Spider-Man 194, the first Black Cat, which I love. Milgram's dope, man.
The first Black Cat, that was by Marie Severin, no?
What?
Is it?
194? I thought was Milgram.
This one. Isn't that Severin?
I might be wrong then. I'm an idiot then. Can we just pull up a CGC one and look at the label real quick?
Yep.
I might be wrong too, though. We'll see.
No, I wouldn't put it past you to be right. I don't. Not, you know.
Al Milgrom cover.
It is Milgram? Okay.
Yep.
No,
that's all. No, and dude, the only reason I even had that information is because I've seen this cover signed by Milgram a bunch of times, right? So that's why I was like, oh, it's a Milgram cover.
Yeah, this is actually a card in Flair Through the Ages.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I believe it's one of those.
The brown, silvers, and golds ones.
Yep.
That Black Cat image is used on a bunch of cards, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man, actually. Yeah. Look up.
It's also that spotlight. That spotlight is similar to the 2016 Jusco canvas Spider-Man.
Yeah. There's also an Amazing Spider-Man where it's like a red spotlight. Like it looks kind of very, very similar to the Jusco canvas.
It's not a great picture, but here you go.
You said red spotlight. What's this book? Hold on. I gotta blow the dust off this. I didn't even put this thing in a bag and board. You're not talking about this, right? This isn't what you're talking about.
That is right there. That is right there. Yeah, because it looks like he's inside the he's inside what looks like a flashlight.
That's what Jusco got it from.
Isn't this dope? This book?
That's sick.
This was my effort at a 9.8, and it's not. I don't think it's going to make the cut. I don't know why I didn't bag and board it. That's embarrassing. That's disrespectful because it is in beautiful condition. Cool.
Not a Mark Jewelers.
No, not a Mark Jewelers. I don't even know if that one is available. It might have a Mark Jewelers. I saw that cover one day and I wasn't familiar with it. And I just went through eBay and bought the cleanest raw I could. And it was super affordable. It might have been like $12. Like, I don't know, $8. Mm-hmm. And then it got here and it actually might 9.8. But for some reason, I have it on a pile of, I actually don't know what that pile is. I'm not sure what that pile is. But the funny thing about that pile is it's not even like a pile that you're supposed to neglect. It's just one that I look at every now and then. I'm like, I'm supposed to assess these and bag and board them. And for like a year, I haven't, you know? And I don't know what that pile is. I also have this huge stack of old Batman books. And all I did one day was go through them and pull the Neil Adams keys out, the expensive ones, sold them. The other 40 or 50 books I still have to go through because I don't know shit about those Batman books from that era. That'd be a fun.
What area is it? Like Blue Cow Spider-Man? I mean, Blue Cow Batman.
I'm just gonna show you
because
I don't speak about Batman very fluidly. So let me just show you some of them, and
it's like that.
You know what these are.
The one I got, the Mexican version. That's Neil Adams too.
There was out of these books, out of this, I'm only gonna bring like maybe I guess this is like a fifth of the pile. Mm-hmm. But out of this pile of books, I pulled a bunch of expensive Neil Adams books, and they might not have even been part of this era. Like, I don't know, but they came out of this stack. So like these ones, you know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This era, whatever this era is.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of these, and I don't know anything about them. They're still in the bags and boards that they came to me in. You know, that's just because I haven't gone through them, assessed them. I have no idea what these are, so I'd have to. I'm gonna have to go through these, and the thing is, they're high grade. Like, if any of these books make for valuable 9/8, it's definitely worth me investigating. I just haven't put the time into it, right? Because Spider-Man. You know?
Yeah.
So I do rock with Batman though. So this might be the project this week, man. I might actually just spend a good, let's say, hour or two researching each one of these, putting some condition notes on it, and deciding whether I need to bulk them out or actually grade them and get into that Batman game.
Nice.
That's crazy. You don't have any big Batman books that you have in the dark?
No, I have a bunch of Batman books where they're not worth anything, but I like the covers. And the biggest Batman book, that's not true. Obviously, 423, McFarlane Batman book is my favorite Batman book, you know. And that one is always coming and going. I guess I'll say something here that I haven't said. On my page, I'm not supposed to tell people these kinds of things because they're going to think I'm not a real collector. But on my page, there's the Batman 423 9.8 newsstand where the moon, because everyone knows the moon on that cover has the missing colors. So this one is signed by Todd, and he colored in the blank spots of the moon.
That's awesome.
It's the only one of its kind, being a 9.8 newsstand. That I paid through the nose for it, and I've sold it. Obviously, I sold it for more. I paid for more than I paid for it.
Yeah.
And I paid through the nose for it because the 9.8 newsstand alone is $5,000 on that book. So you take a 9.8 newsstand signed by Todd, and you got the moon colored in. Come on.
Yeah.
So the collector that wanted it more than I wanted it now has it.
Nice.
And I never told anybody I sold that book because I would get beat up for selling. Like, they're gonna be like, Manu, you're an idiot. And I'm just like, I had it though, you know. It went through me. I don't know how I'm gonna get it again, but
that's one that if you got again, would you keep it this time ago?
It all depends on how much someone offers me for it. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, I appreciate that. I like your honesty.
I'm not gonna lie.
Honestly,
I never told anybody I sold that book. I'm pretty sure I did not tell anybody.
we can edit this out. Don't even worry about it.
Nah, you guys don't edit. We're not gonna start editing things. I mean, I don't know if you guys edit. I assume you guys just post your conversations. I have no idea. I don't think you guys edit.
This got crazy one time.
We had to edit.
It got crazy one time, and it was a mutual agreement not to release that.
Okay, it's like that day I called Dave, and it was the 4th episode of our podcast, and I listened to the playback, and I said, Dave, we have to delete this episode. He was like, episode 4? We're already deleting episodes? I said, bro, I can't have this out there. This shit gotta go. And that's the uncensored podcast. So imagine what that episode was like. That I was like, yo, no.
That's that Patreon episode.
Let me ask you a question about the podcast really quick.
Yeah.
Are you when you guys record? Do you guys see each other, or is it just audio?
No, when we're recording, we do see each other, because we are using. I think we're using StreamYard. Yeah, we're using StreamYard, and so we are seeing each other. But none of that. It's not in a way that would be pleasant to play back on YouTube, right? Because it's not like we're like, make sure the lighting's right. And now I sit in the dark. All he can see is like the light hitting my nose, because those kinds of conversations, I want to be dialed in more to the speaking than anything else. And so we're getting into that groove. But also,
you might as well get in a float tank. You know what I mean?
Into the what?
Get into like a float tank where it's pitch black and you're just floating in the water.
Man, look, okay, the episode coming out on Monday, it came from the Newsstand. Plug is the name. It came from the Newsstand. The episode coming out, thank you. The episode coming out on Monday is, I love the episode, right? And it happened by mistake. I think we're going to title the episode Kids Got Hustle, or The Kids Got Hustle, because we just started talking about hustling that we did back in the day, right? Like, it just turned into a really fun episode, and it did get tied into comic books as well, because like one of my first jobs, I was 11 years old, and it was a comic book store, and I was working for free comic books, obviously, and catalogs and things, right? And so, but I say that to say, we're finding our groove with the conversation, and I know it's not, we intentionally have no visual component, but a visual component would obviously be better for content sharing. You know, if I'm clipping it, it'd be nice to have a face to the person speaking to clip it.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying the fact that we don't worry about the visual when we're doing this, because I'm getting to the point where I do want to just be in the dark, hearing Dave and speaking to Dave. And I think that's what my process is going to become over time, as long as Dave is okay with not being able to see me. And I'm already fading out. Like, you know, like now I'm just a shadow. And he's like, what are you doing? Like, I show up with a hoodie on, you know, the hat's forward and the lights are off. And at first I think he might have thought it was kind of weird, but he's getting into it now. He's like, all right, Manu wants to talk in the dark.
If you want to throw him off, just, you know, turn a couple candles on before the episode starts.
Hey, the only reason there aren't candles in this room, because I love candles, is because this is the comic book room, and I wouldn't dare have a bunch of smoke floating around this thing. But every other place in my house, candles. I love it.
Hey, you don't you love that though? When you see that in listings too, it comes from a smoke pet-free home. You get the slab; it's full of like cat hair, and it smells like a cat. I'm like, come on,
dude. I had, yeah, man. It's like, it's hilarious. I actually unboxed a book and smelled cigarettes as I was unboxing a book, bro. And he misrepresented the book completely. And just as a zinger, I threw it in there. I said, because he was fighting me on the return, because he misrepresented the book. He's fighting me on the return. And as an extra, I said, and bro, I didn't even bring this up. Your book smells like cigarettes. Like, I don't care if you smoke, but why does your book smell like it? And he goes, no, I know you're lying. I don't even smoke. You're definitely lying, bro. This book came out of a cigarette ashtray. Like, dude, people smoke cigarettes. Their books aren't supposed to smell like it. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I returned that book.
What book was it?
It was a Simpsons 1 Newsstand. Not anything crazy. Simpsons 1 Newsstand. The Fantastic Four homage cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Homer's coming out of the
Homer's coming out of the ground. Yeah. That's a book. I just really dig that book, you know, and the values of the 9.8 newsstands are super low right now, but at one point in time they were high. You guys know about Bart codes, right? Yes. No. You know?
Yeah, is that similar to like the Warner Brothers code, where there's the newsstand and there's another one that's a little bit more rare that came with a WB code on there?
Similar. I show you. I'll be back. 1 sec.
All right.
I love that cat, by the way. I can hear the cat. That's crazy. I want a cat.
Yeah, shout out to your damn cat.
Yeah, man. Shout out to the cat, man.
He's a very vocal boy. You know, very vocal.
He definitely is. He's snitching on somebody right now. Yeah, I'll be right back.
All right, so what I wanted to talk about, in this particular book, important to note, everything I'm about to show you here does not apply to this book. This book only comes as a direct and a newsstand. There's no Bart code of this book, but the newsstand is super desirable and it gets expensive. So you have direct editions and you have newsstand editions. Then the Bart code is that image down there of a piece of Bart, and there's 4 comic books, and they make a puzzle.
All right.
So it makes Bart Simpson, but these are the 4. The 4 are Radioactive Man 1. This is the most expensive of the 4. No one has ever seen a 9.8 Bart code of this book. I will make one. I just don't feel like doing it now, because I think it's going to be worth much more later. And if I grade it, I'm going to be compelled to sell it. So I'm not going to grade it yet. So you have the Radioactive Man 1. You have the Itchy and Scratchy. You have Bartman 1 in a Bart code, which is actually there's a sketch, double sketched and signed, meaning it has 2 sketches from, dude, what's his name?
The Matt something, right? Matt
Yeah, Groening.
Groening. Yeah.
It has 2 sketches from Groening. It's on this book is on eBay right now for $9.99 or best offer, which is an absolute freaking steal. And then you have this version, right?
Yeah.
And so these are the 4 that make the puzzle. And so everyone thought there were only 4. Now everyone's like, where did these come from? What is the distribution? Why do those exist? I'm going to tell you, and very few people know this. This is a sealed 4-pack.
Oh.
All 4 come in this sealed 4-pack. And I've had a few of these, obviously, but I've sold quite a few because I like selling things.
Yeah.
And in the back of this, there's also a card. I'll show you what the card is. The card doesn't excite me. Maybe the card has some significance to someone, but out of every sealed pack that I opened, I removed the card and put them into top loaders. So you have this card, you have this card,
That's sick. Yeah.
and maybe there are more. I don't remember. So how many sealed packs have I opened so far? I've opened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 or 9 sealed packs I've opened so far, right? And I haven't graded any of those barcodes. So the barcodes come in this sealed 4-pack. If you ever find it for like 100, 150, it's a no-brainer buy, right? Because even if you want to resell it for 250, you will. And now word is starting to spread about these because now CGC actually writes barcode on the label.
That's sick.
If you tell them that's what it is, they write it now. Now, the other book, because there was a rumor of a 5th one, just a rumor. No one was ever able to tell me what it is or anything. I found the damn thing. It's Bartman number 3. Has a random barcode on it. It's not part of the 4-pack. This is the only one I've ever seen, and apparently this is the only one the guy in Germany has ever seen. Because every couple of months he's like, "Hey, you still got that book?" and it's just like,
dope.
yeah. So
Nice.
what the hell? I paid how much for this? Hold on. No. Oh. Okay, I bought it with a 4-pack. Someone sold a 4-pack and this book, and I bought it. I was like, "There's no way I paid that just for this book." Now it makes sense why. I'm not even gonna say how much I paid for it. I don't know why. But that's the barcodes, bro.
Those
like that's
cool,
the
yeah,
dopest way.
That's dope.
That's like some
collect.
cool, like, yeah. Doesn't get better
Yeah.
than that little, you know, treasure finds.
That's just some interesting, fun stuff, and one day I'll grade those as well. But yeah, so the reason I say, like, I don't think anyone has opened 8 or 10 of these 4-pack, the 4-packs, and I did open them. So that means I have 8 or 10 of these raw, and each one I have 8 or 10 of them raw, and obviously the 4-packs I opened were the clean ones. You know, like I did my thing, looking through it, seeing as much as I could, and I opened the ones that I deemed to have the possibility of 9/8 in them, and it produced some pretty clean books, right? But if I go ahead and grade 6 9/8 of this, I'm gonna screw the value before the value even exists.
Yeah.
Someone else needs to 9/8 one and sell it for 2,500, and then I'll do one every 2 months. You know.
Yeah.
Just put them all in the market, the value won't even have a chance to be created yet.
Yeah, it's funny how some of that stuff works, you know, depending on how they come out. Look at, for example, the holograms. A lot of people flooded the market now with the Marvel holograms, and now they're stale. They're sitting there at the price that they're at.
Yeah.
Wait, which holograms are you talking about? That's the second time you mentioned holograms today.
Yeah, let me look.
Here, pull it up right now.
They're the Marvel from what set? Beginnings?
From Beginnings, yeah.
Yeah, they have some crazy sales. A couple people chasing after the sets, I guess. I don't know. These.
The ones that are like these are actually, I didn't know about these cards until recently, and they're super good looking. I think it was Elusive that showed them to me because I didn't know, and they're like, they're really impressive. The background work is crazy on these cards.
Yeah, they're dope, man. But you know, these weren't. You know, every character had about maybe 3 to 5 sales in the past 4 years, and then all of a sudden everybody flooded the market, and now there's maybe like 2 or 3 of some of the bigger characters available. So
At one time, when
one time.
traditionally there was only 3 sales generally over the past couple of years,
yeah.
and now they're just there. I got you.
So I
Yeah.
just think that we got to the price point where look at that Scarlet Witch, man. Look at the artwork on that.
Yeah, let me see that real quick, please. Yeah, that's beautiful.
It's a dope one, dude.
And you see like the difference when the light hits all
Look
the
at that.
logos. Yeah.
But it's still
Comes to
it's
life.
not, it doesn't do it justice till you have one in hand, man. They're crazy in hand.
And that's a lot of these modern cards I've never seen in person. Like I don't know. I still have never ever seen a PMG. I have no idea what a PMG looks like. I've never had one.
Yeah, they're nice as well. But
Oh, there goes your
yeah,
guy.
that's your boy Scandell.
He's selling that? That's Scandell's card?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is though. Go get it. Mhm.
Yeah.
Just hit buy it now. You good?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd
rather get an X-Men 266 Mark's Jeweler 98. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey,
We talked about
Dinesh
those
with
sales.
yeah. Wait, we talked about which sales?
The X-Men Uncanny 266 Mark Jeweler.
We did talk about that?
Yeah, privately we did.
Okay.
But
Wait,
the last one did
260
10K.
Oh, I guess we did. Yes, that I like that. That's a great example of a multiplier on a popular X-Men book.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Absolutely.
it is.
Yeah. Bro, that's a tough book. Dinesh.
He owns the original artwork before that.
And he owns a Mark Jewelers 98. But yes, because the Rohan's interview, we know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he told me, he goes, yeah, when he interviewed him, he's like, hey, you're going to want to check that one out. He owns the original Gambit artwork. I'm like, all right. That's crazy, right?
Did you watch the whole interview? You did, right?
With him, yeah. How he started the company and then he got bought out of it.
Super impressive. But he also owns the Ultimate Fallout 4 cover original. He's the owner of the ASM 300 original.
Yeah. Step up your game, Manu. Come on, dude. What are you doing?
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Where's the wizard? Hey, where's the original wizard artwork? You know?
Look, I got this limited to 100 glow-in-the-dark gray matter print.
That's cool. But do you know who owns the wizard? The original artwork?
No, and I've never done any digging. I know there's ways to dig out who the owners are. You know, there's kind of a chain. Well, not for everything, right? But I'm not deep in that world, and I feel like if I put on my investigative hat, I could probably figure it out.
I'm back.
I got a phone call, but I'm on Do Not Disturb. That means she called hella times. Because that's the only way the call gets through. All right, how much we want to bet this phone rings next? No, just
we're talking about
I just know that I forget the numbers now, but the date or whatever. But I there is a sale of it. It was a couple. I forget when, but it sold for 30,000. I believe it was 32,000.
Wow.
And you know,
would you have paid that, by the way?
Well, whenever that's right now today, I would.
Yeah.
But who knows if I had that money when it? I don't remember when it sold. Like if that thing sold 7 years ago, I would have just looked at it like it was $10 million. You know, like 30 grand. The fuck.
Yeah.
Today, if somebody offered me that for 30,000, I'd be like, you know what? Yes. Let's do this. You know, where are we meeting? But there's no way that sells for anything less than $100 and something thousand now. You know, like. Yeah, it would easily be 6 figures. The wizard is appreciated like crazy. Everyone, you know, it's just different now for the wizard cover. Everyone loves that fucking thing, rightfully so.
Yo, Manu, we could go on for hours with you, but we need to do a part 2, man. We need to do a part 2. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell you the truth. It was like we were an hour and 30 minutes in. And in my head, I was already like, they're about to say goodbye to me. I was like, I'm not
Doom's
gonna.
been out of it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He's been.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bring it up, but they're gonna say goodbye. Then we hit 2.5 hours. And I was like, I'm gonna get ready to say goodnight, but I'm not bringing it up. So, my friends, thank you so much for having me for this freaking long. That means the world to me. I love that, and I know we can go on forever and ever, and we'll do a part 2. Thank you guys. Like, it means a lot. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for joining us, man.
Yeah,
anytime.
thanks for joining us. Yeah,
anytime, man.
And shout out to Canelo, making his entrance like always. In the
Oh, that's the cat's name.
Yeah,
Camelo.
Yeah.
Nice.
Little ginger cat,
Yeah, man. I love it, man. I love it.
We like to do our shout outs at the end. Shout out to Matt Fuller. Shout out to Shane. We were playing on Mario Kart yesterday.
Oh, shout out to Shane. Yeah, shout out to
Yeah. It gets fun, Swami's Discord if you guys want to join the Mario Kart stuff. It looks like we do it every now and then around in the nighttime, usually in the weekends, Fridays. So for sure, shout out to those guys. What about you, man?
Who's next on the shout out list?
You go, man. Wow.
Oh, I'm gonna just shout out a bunch of people that whose energy I really appreciate. And if I leave anyone out, I apologize. Shout out Melfi, shout out Rohan, shout out, Justin for putting me on YouTube and that was really amazing. Shout out Dave. It feels bad because I'm gonna miss Helen. It's not like I'm doing a Grammy speech. I love everybody. I'm sorry. I love you all, man. Anybody that communicates with me, that rocks with me, that touches base with me from time to time, you know who you are. You know I love you and I appreciate it, and I hope we stay connected even if you don't see me, opening boxes on YouTube.
Likewise.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Dave. You guys podcast, definitely listen to it. So yeah.
Shout out Dave. Shout out a lot of. We got a lot of. It came from the newsstand. Thank you, my friend. We got a lot of really great people in our community. We really do. So we've got a lot to be grateful for. I just get irritated sometimes because I lose perspective. But truthfully, we got a lot of dope shit happening.
Yeah. Sergio, you got any shout outs, bro?
No, I'll lightly pass this week. Since I've been, I haven't really been plugged in. I haven't been plugged in.
Shout out to the shout outs, bro. You want to go shit on someone?
There's definitely no anti shout outs.
All right, Sergio,
that's not the energy for this week.
No, that's not the energy. Yeah, and I'll do some additionals for you. Shout out the Andrews, both Andrews. We've got 2 great Andrews in the community, so shout out Andrew and RMS. Big shout out to RMS.
Shout out RMS.
Yeah, sure.
We could go on forever. Shout out to you 3 fine gentlemen. Yes.
Thank you, man.
I
appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Till next time, guys. Have a good one.
Peace. All right. I'm adding this at the end. Everybody who participated in the comments section, we're going to give away the Harley Quinn PSA 10.
Nice.
Do a little, little name generator. So it's fair, no fucking bullshit, straight up. Appreciate everybody who participated, everybody who left a message. And let's see. Let me add this wheel name. Shout out to Retroverse. I know he likes his wheel, right? Let's just give away wheel. So let's do this. Boom. Here we go. All right, Sergio. I'm gonna need you to give me a number between 1 and 5, bro.
1 and 5.
Yeah.
Hit it 3 times.
3 times. So let's shuffle. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Let's see who gets it.
Look, everybody. Let's see.
And
oh my God!
Wow, Charles.
This guy really?
Charles, I'm gonna hit you up, bro. I don't want to hear about you don't want the address. Give me a PO box, something, bro. Salute to you. Thanks for everybody who participated, and next time I know Elusive said he was gonna give out something. So next time we record, probably gonna be like not next week, but the week after. I'm thinking. Well, who knows? You never know. Never know what we do. So shout out to Charles. Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to Charles, man. Congrats, man. For sure.
For sure.
That's a sick one.
All right, y'all. Peace.